Well, uh, you might be civilization. Might even kill shit. That you line. AJ libation. Last. You might even have last call on my baby. That my baby. Get ready to start. That's all that is.
Welcome to the Podnas. The space hat it is.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast. Show with three friends separated by distance, connected by brotherhood, having weekly conversations that you can join in on. As always, I am one third of the partners. It's your boy Tiz, and I'm along with.
Hi, niggas. This is Padawan. It's the other third. I just got in for work. Greetings,
Indeed.
salutations, and shit.
Way to make it in on time. I definitely thought I was gonna have to, do the little disclaimer that you was gonna be coming in a few minutes late. I was already ready to pivot, so I appreciate you. I don't know how the hell you made it in time because I know how this Atlanta traffic is this weekend.
I be speeding, man. I know how to speed now.
Well, I'm gonna need you to be safe, my brother.
Oh no, I be safe as fuck. Cause the way I speed, the way I drive to be away from people. The
Did
only
y'all hear
reason
that?
why.
Did y'all hear that crazy ass statement? The way I speed. See, the way I speed is different than the way other people speed. Because
It is.
speeding got different
I stay the
categories.
fuck away.
Nigga, please be safe,
Far.
man.
Far the fuck away.
Hey man,
But
as an accident survivor, as a man who was once known as the bloody man of Douglasville, I just want to let you know, man, be safe out there.
I ain't know about the Bloody Man of Douglasville. That's a catchy name for Halloween.
Oh yeah. So in 2014, yeah, because my wife was she was pregnant with my son at the time. Goddamn, on the way to work. Literally my first week of the new job.
Mm.
That was when I was first going to do the teaching gig.
Yeah.
Right. First week, I want to say first day, because I didn't meet the kids till the next week when I was already in bandages and shit. Fucked up. So I'm driving. At the time, we got like a little on ramp that they building. If you ever seen somebody building an on ramp, when they building it, it's like one. It's nothing. It's literally you going off of the street and you're on the highway. So when you hit the little turn to get onto the highway, you gotta accelerate. because the people on the highway is still going in that inner lane, even if they ain't going where you know 70 miles an hour, even if they're going 60 miles an hour, they're going. You're trying to catch up and merge in. Otherwise, you're just gonna be sitting there looking stupid, watching people go past you real fast.
True.
Especially in the morning. So again, if you know anything about Atlanta traffic or you know that Atlanta metro area traffic, this is like 5 something, 6 something in the morning. So like it's it's when that shit is building up. So people is not slowing down at all. So I'm coming on to the traffic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as I merge in, well, as I'm okay, so it's me. It's a big pickup, one of them big country pickup trucks with the big tires on it in front of me, right?
Oh yeah.
Behind me, I can't tell what vehicle it is because the beams are so bright. So I just know it's a car right behind me too. We're all coming in. The truck in front of me speeds up to accelerate onto the ramp or I don't even know what to call it because at this point it's not an actual ramp. It's like you're on the street. It's like a overpass type street. You're on
Mm-hmm.
the overpass. You make the left, and like literally within 2 feet. Well, like to me it's 2 feet. It's really probably like 20 to 30 yards. You're on the highway, so it's like you make the left and you go.
Mm.
So the truck makes the left. I make the left. We got the light. All right. So the truck makes the left. I make the left. Car behind me makes the left. Truck guns it. I gun it. Car behind me guns it. Truck in front of me, this fool stops like.
You can't just stop as a truck.
Now we don't have like now. You can if we on the highway, if we on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got like hella space between each car, right?
Yeah.
Right now we're at the space where you can literally see the tires of the car in front of you, but it's not a lot of space. And we're gunning it trying to get on. So it's not we're going at like a 20, 35 mile an hour residential zone. We're gunning it and then
God damn.
so when he does that, I go to but I'm like close enough to where I have to kind of swerve because I'm trying not to hit him. Right? I've never been in an accident at this point, Pat. Never been in an accident in my life. I've seen an accident right in front of me, literally, but I've never been in the accident. Right? At this point, too, I'm driving. I've become a cocky driver because I've been driving since I was 10 years old, never had an accident, and I don't really use my seatbelt all the time. I'm gonna find out that was a good thing this one time, but still, I wouldn't tell nobody to do it. But you'll get it.
Yeah.
So I don't have no seatbelt on. I'm bumping to the music. We gunning it. This motherfucker skirts. I skirt. I go to swerve to the left. I remember it clear as day. This because it's like the last memory I have before it goes black. I go left, and I remember that as I go left to go around the truck and still get on the highway, like fuck it, I'm just going, right? This motherfucker like swerves over just a bit to the left and tries to accelerate. And as he does that, he bumps my front bumper. I don't know whether it was my acceleration or his or the tires pulling me or what, but it sent my car spinning across what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lanes of traffic.
Mm.
So I'm spinning like this. Thank God I don't know how no car actually smashed me while I'm spinning, but I didn't get smashed while I'm spinning. But I'm already hit, so I'm swirling. And I'm going at about 60 miles an hour as I'm spinning.
Mm.
I'm spinning all the way across the highway, and there's a median in the middle, like one of them little concrete little mini malls. My car hits that. When it hits it, the way the car is spinning, it's spinning so it hits sideways. So like if this the wall, and this my car is spinning, and this the front end. The front end smacks like this and sends me flying out this way out of the driver's side window. So I'm flying through the air at this point, but I don't know this part. This is what I'm told after the fact. Because after that swerve, once that initial hit, I don't know nothing. I'm gonna tell you how crazy it is because there's so much that went on in this interim, but this is how I'm starting to spin. So I'm spinning. I'm flying out the window. Thank God I did, because the way my car hit that median, it pushed in like an accordion. So if I had stayed in the car, the front end, the dashboard area where your driver, where your glove box, your steering wheel, all that shit, that was in my back seat. If I had stayed in the car, that's through me.
No.
I'm chopped in half. So thank God, no seatbelt. But so I'm out of the car. Somehow or another, I fly out of the car. I skid up the highway like a skipping rock. I don't know how many bounces, but my whole back and my head is shredded. Eyelid is literally like, so this eyelid, see how it looked funny? It's because it grew back over a layer. Because the top layer, it was literally like so paper thin, I could see through my eyelid was translucent. I could see through that bitch.
Damn.
I closed my eye. The whole back of my head was split open. Like to this day, one of the reasons I started growing my hair out is because it's a scar back there. Like it's like you can see where my head was ripped open back there. My whole back is shredded up. If you see my back, it looked like leopard print from road rash and shit.
God damn.
To this day, my right calf muscle has like a hole in it. Like it's a calf muscle, then it's like a hole, then it's like a piece of calf muscle that just floats.
Wow.
That's like it's connected by like some thin tissue, but it's not all the way connected. So when my calf muscle activates on my right leg, that piece doesn't do anything. It's just dead. Like, yeah. But Pete, this how crazy God worked on my boy. I flew out that shit, right? Pops and my wife said, I flew out the shit, leaned up against the wall, called the wife, let her know that I done flew out this car and that she need to come get me. I don't know where I'm at, but I'm messed up. And then passed out. Woke up in the emergency room. Wife is there beside me as they pushing me through to the back room to like go operate on my arm. Cause my left arm, I got a metal plate in it. Cause like this wrist, all the bone in that is gone. That shit is like exploded. So it's just gummy. It's just you know how your bone in your forearm is really two bones. The one bone right here, gone. That's just gummy. That's just empty space. So that shit flopping. So they taking me back to do the surgery. While my dumb ass woke up. I don't remember this, but this is what the wife tells me afterwards. Like this is what the white cops, the doctors all telling me afterwards. I woke up talking about, am I still pretty? I don't want my son to see me like this.
Yeah, that sounds like some shit you would say.
Bruh. I was like, yeah. That definitely was some shit I would say. Like, don't let him see me like this. I don't want to be ugly when he see me.
Yep. That's how you know it's a true story.
Fuck trying to be actually functional. Fuck the fact that I'm alive. Don't be thankful for that. Wake up and immediately go to some vain shit. Like, pretty? Am I still pretty? Nigga, I worry about if I'm flying or not. If my son gonna think I'm the nigga. Not if I'm alive. Fuck that. We ain't worry about that. Oh man, but yeah. So and then like so for the next few months, when I would ride through town, right, you would hear people talking about the bloody man of Douglasville, and then I'd walk into the store, and it would be me with all these bandages and casts and shit on, looking crazy as hell. They'd be like, "Oh, that's him," and they'd be like, "Are you okay? We saw you. We remember you that morning. Everybody saw you."
Oh, shit,
Because I
man.
done backed up. So this accident, it backed up all the traffic. It was one of them. So like if
Mm.
you lived in this entire area, you had to ride by it, or you were sitting on the overpass looking down on it as I'm over there fucked up.
Man, they done turned you into one of them old folk tales and shit, man. You better
Yo,
be good or the bloody man
funniest
of
shit ever, yo.
Douglasville will come get you.
I walked into the store like maybe a week after, right? So I limped my ass into the store. We at the gas station. I'm going in to get some snacks or something, and I go to the cash register, and I'm bandaged up head to toe, looking
Mhm.
crazy. And the lady was like, "You remind me of the bloody man of Douglasville." I was like, "Who is that?" I'm thinking she telling me about some old legend, and she
Mhm.
started describing my accident. I was like, "Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry, that's me."
Nigga, you are a legend.
Yeah, no, not for some shit I want to be, boy. And that's how my students met me for the first time, bandaged and bloodied the fuck up. And literally my first day I go in, I literally made it through one class, and then the principal came in and was like, "Hey, bro, I love you, man. You gotta go home, man. You can't be you don't need to be here right now. Like, come on." Like it's literally been a week, bro. Salute to him though, cause when I was in the hospital, that nigga came down, sure came to see me and shit, make sure I was good.
God damn.
But yeah, I fucked up, my boy. What up, Black Anonymous? What up, last call? Peace, everybody. Sorry to start off on such a weird note, but happy Halloween, niggas. Happy Horror Day and all that shit. The Bloody Man of Douglasville. Say my name 3 times in the mirror. I'm gonna come stab somebody.
Better be
Um,
good. Bloody man of Douglasville gonna come and run your
better
ass
not bring
over.
your kids. Um, but yeah. So anyway, I got a couple of ways. Well, first of all, okay, let me actually use the docket. Let me get myself together. I'm sorry. I was in Bloody Man of Douglasville mode, and then let me get my shit together. All right, here we go. All right, first of all, y'all, I know this is two man, as we told y'all last week, but we're gonna keep on letting y'all know until he come back, just to make sure people don't think nothing wrong. Face is out on paternity leave. Um, the newest addition to his family is here. Um, he's at home enjoying the new throes of early fatherhood, and him and his family are recuperating and resting and loving each other and just enjoying that moment. So shout out to him. He's always here in spirit, but
Face
we
mob.
need to make sure y'all know that everything's good, family's good. He's just at home being a new dad again, and making sure that the family get together. Siblings are learning to be siblings. Wife is resting. He's in there, doing the daddy thing. So it's just a beautiful moment right now. So shout out to him. Make sure y'all send prayers, good vibes, and love out to him if you can throughout the week. Love you, bro. Shout out to you and the fam. So Pat, I know you got topics. Do you want to? We can go 3 ways. We can go with my first topic. We can go with my second topic, or we can go with your topics. How do you want to start the show this week?
We can go with your topic first.
Which one? I got two. Do you want to go with
Uh,
the one I got a video for, or do you want to go with the one I got PowerPoint for? Well, not a PowerPoint, but like a set of notes for. Either
um,
way, we going, but it's gonna be a conversation.
goddamn. What's the Orlando Brown jump?
Okay, we going Orlando. All right. So, all right. As everybody know, if you watch this podcast, then that means you probably into some the same bullshit that we be saying and shit. What that nigga said? Then Tiz got in the truck and told the driver get out. Nigga, I was half dead. I ain't say nothing. I don't know how the hell I did anything after I got thrown out the shit. But hey, I was here, my nigga. Yeah, I said that, Kimberly. I did. You know, all that is online. The Podnas Podcast at gmail.com. But yeah, man, you know, if you want network, if you got some business connect, hey man, all that is man. But yeah, I did say that. So if you in the Georgia area, you probably know what I'm talking about and already. Yes, ma'am. Um, what I was going. Okay, Orlando Brown, right? So if you watch this podcast, you probably know about fuckery anyway. That's probably something that's up your alley because that's what we be on. And if you've been here this long, that means you probably have a little bit of that in you too. So you probably know about Orlando Brown, Jaguar, right? A lot of these, I don't know what to call them. I guess they're almost like this version of internet Miss Cleos these days, where they claim to be psychic. They know all of this inside information. For some reason, they don't do the. Hey, I do too. So yeah, respect. You already know then. Uh, Amphitheater be popping on the wind down Wednesday. You already know. Um, But yeah, so you know that Orlando and these type of people, they kind of come out and they say these really outlandish things. They stir up controversy and then they go to the next podcast and rinse and repeat. And it's kind of how they make their hustle. And then they kind of get certified when something that they threw
Say
out there in the middle of their word salad happens to stick, right? But as I'm watching these dudes and a recent interview that Orlando did with Say Cheese TV, shout out to Say Cheese, right? He had a segment of it where he said something real interesting and it made me think like I wanted to ask the question to you and to the chat and to the world at large, man. When we're looking at these people like this that are stirring up all these controversies, you got some people that really follow them like their word is gospel and like they're really speaking some truth to power, right? Are these people crazy? Are they really whistleblowing like on some Edward Snowden shit, but on the hip hop music industry, hip Hollywood industry, or are they paid actors? Are podcasts and other media starting to like showcase freaks, or are they programming us through the antics, or is this actual truth telling? Right, kind of like Jaguar, right? Exactly. But something that Orlando said recently, right, made me really think, and it kind of I couldn't like I'm gonna speak to how the rest of the interview after this went, but the fact that this little moment of clarity kind of slipped in, I wasn't sure if it was real or not, but I wanted to share with y'all, and then we can take the discussion wherever it go. But all right, so y'all check this out real quick, and then we're gonna go from there.
he
Finna
already
get
looked suspect.
I mean, going off other interviews in the past, sometimes you would be high, sometimes you would be
No,
joking.
never high, brother. The main thing is, it's what is the platform that I'm on. If I'm on a platform that says I can get loose, I'm gonna get loose. If I'm on a platform that says that I can speak intellectually, I can speak intellectually. If I'm on a platform that says you paid me $5,000 and I'm not here to play, then I'm not here to play. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what I'm saying? Some people pay $2,000 and expect that to get this Orlando. You're not going to get this Orlando for $2,000. You're not going to get this Orlando for $1,500. You're not going to get this Orlando for $500. No, no, it's levels to this
It's
shit,
levels.
bro.
It's
Yeah,
levels.
it's definitely levels to this shit. So if you want me to act high, I'll act high. If you want me to act drunk, I'll be drunk. If you want me to say some Raven shit, I'll say some Raven shit. It's.
You seem pretty sharp today.
all right. So we have that clip of him right now. For full context, I will go on to say that maybe 45 seconds later, he goes into calling this nigga Janet, going on to his normal Orlando Brown. Woo! Shit. But the way how lucid he was when he said that, it made me feel like maybe it's some truth to what he's saying. Like it's hard to tell, and just my perception. I'm gonna give my take, but I wanted to kind of see what other people thought because I'm looking at these. I noticed there's a rise in these types of gene deals and these people who are like coming out saying all these things, right? And they're just throwing things. And we don't know if they true or not because we're not in the industry. We're not connected with these people. We're not in these back rooms and these parties and et cetera, et cetera. But are they truth tellers? Are they crazy as hell? Or are they knowing what they're doing and they're just actors that are paid to like kind of program us to have some type of narrative push? What do you think, Pat?
I think with every crazy person, there's some type of genius and intelligence behind it. That's what I think. And I also think that two things can't be true at the same time. Multiple things can be true at the same time, but one
Yeah.
thing may be a lot more truer than the other. I
I don't know why that sentence sounded so funny to me, but that was hilarious.
It might
A
be some.
lot more truer than the other.
Yep. It's just the simple fact that how I'll say. All right, Orlando Brown. When he said that, I think he kind of snitched on himself. Like majority of the time, if it's like it's like he said, it's levels to it. If it's a up and coming podcast and they trying to get Orlando Brown and they like excited they got Orlando Brown because they know that he's gonna say some salacious shit or whatever,
Right.
then they're not gonna if they're up and coming whatchamacallit, they don't care what he does as long as it's salacious.
Right. I think
And I
okay.
mean,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut your wisdom. My bad. Go ahead.
oh no, I mean it's just that I'll say a lot of these people they either some type of blackballed from the industry or not they got something on them where they not supposed to be saying anything or whatever, or and they got screwed by the industry, and or they were promised something and they didn't get it in return, and they were waiting like they were basing everything that they do that on this promise that they're supposed to get and got screwed over at the end, and now they they salty about it.
Right.
It's something behind it. Like it that phrase "follow the money." I feel like it can go with any situation, and with what he just said, that kind of just proves it right then and there. Like it, I think a lot of times, even when if they're saying something true, it's
Uh-huh.
exaggerated some type of way. It's like it's like 75% of that shit could be exaggerated, but it's based off this 125% that's like truer than everything.
All right. So we
Like
got two different comments right here, right? We got, I think Jaguar's off, but I think she also has some truth, especially in light of where we're learning about Diddy, right? And then we got like it's called the sad Jaguars full of shit too. We don't need this type of sleuth in the black community. These aren't true speakers. They're smut peddlers. No one would listen if they weren't spreading shit around. So I think these are the two different sides to the coin that I'm looking at, right? And that's kind of where I'm confused at, right? Because this is the hard part. You got some people that say so much bullshit, it's just all bullshit, and it's easy to read that it's bullshit, and you can let it go as that because it just, the world is coming to an end in 2022, 2023, 2024. Okay, I mean 2026. Okay, I mean 2028, and every year it just keep on. We still here. Right, you
yeah,
got those type that just you keep saying the bullshit, but then you got those that like they say so much shit that they are often right and wrong
at the same.
several times. Like you get a person like Orlando Brown that I feel like that he said so much stuff that he just spewing off, and in the middle of it, some truth came out real quick, and he ain't mean for it to, so he had to go back into the character. But for a second, he was telling, "Yeah, if you pay me, I'm gonna act a fool." But then it confuses me because if you watch the interview further, and I ain't want to take too much of it because I ain't want to get, striking them. But if you watch the interview further on Say Cheese, right, he goes into basically like saying, like, I'm not lying about nothing I'm saying. you don't pay me $5,000 to lie, and then he goes into like doing all of the antics and stuff too. So it's like he's doing both. He's giving you like this real moment or what seems as a real authentic moment, and he's giving you the bullshit. So it's like, well, what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
With Jaguar, at least she stays on theme. Now, with her, I think the more difficult part with her is a lot of the stuff she says is coming on hidden, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the hard part with her is also a lot of the stuff she says is stuff that we've already heard in the background.
That's
We've
what I was
heard
gonna
about
say.
Jay-Z being with Foxy Brown. We've heard about um these groups getting together playing naked basketball. Like all these little rumors is already out there. You know what I'm
But
saying? So it's not like, oh, you
she,
telling us something new. It just happened to be that you saying it, and then it's also being true. So I
oh, you
don't know
ain't
if.
heard this from me, ass bitch.
And the hardest part about Jaguar for me is like with Orlando, he's been in the industry legit around these people for a long ass time. Give or take how crazy he is, he might be on meth. I don't know. He's crazy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Some ain't right, whether he's acting or not. He's playing a character that looked wrong. Some ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Some is off, but at least with him, I know he's been in the industry. He has some legit credentials for years. Jaguar, I literally only know her for the Unplugged album, and I'm trying to figure out with her. I need more evidence of you were around these people for a significant amount of time in that short amount of time that you were actually
In the
able
industry.
to get access to these people. Because I feel like when you fall off, you stop having access to these invites and people stop calling you and you stop getting it. Hey, come on, get at this table for this event. And you stop getting those. So I'm looking at her career as far as what I know of her and her prominence, where she would have been big enough and have access to these people. We're looking at maybe a year to 3 years of like real, I can call these people are calling me, etc. Right?
Like,
And then it's like, okay, you're kind of background. So I don't. It's tough, but these moments of clarity and these moments of lucidity, like, are the moments that scare me because it's like if these people are actually for real, if Orlando Brown is actually telling the truth, how scary is that?
how I put it. It's not that I don't believe them all the way.
Mhm.
It's only that I believe them 25%. If you
That's
get,
enough, and that's the scary part.
that's the thing. Like, it's like with Jaguar, right? It's like what you said. I feel like she's just the gossiping auntie. Like just in general, because like, all right, she I did my homework. She did
Ooh,
have like
keep
um
going, but I'm gonna speak to you like I like that comment because I do have a take on that. Yes, I got a take on that. Go ahead, Pat. My bad.
it's like she did have like clout amongst the neo soul community
Okay.
when she was around. Like, she had, and I mean, she got a strong ass voice. I cannot deny
No,
that.
she can sing her ass off.
She
I
could
don't
sing
take
her
her
ass.
talent away at all.
It's
At
just that
all.
knowing where the neo soul music has gone to compared to popular music in the industry lately or whatever, it's like neo soul is always like in the background or whatever.
Mhm.
So I feel like she was on her way, especially with her being on that Jay-Z concert
Mhm.
on Unplugged. She probably felt that in that moment that she was on her way in general. And
On
then all
her
of a
way,
sudden,
where?
like,
Where was
just
she going?
on her way as far as getting some type of notoriety in the industry, and like maybe dropping an album. That's the other thing.
That's the problem.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a couple of problems with that statement, but go ahead. What is your
Yeah,
problem that you see?
that's the other thing. She don't have any known albums.
Not a bit.
I have never heard of anyone actually signing her. And that might just be my ignorance because I'm not every day looking for like the history of people that not even active in the industry. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking
Oh,
for
honey.
people that is active or whatever.
Right.
But it just has something to say when you have that talent like that, and the main thing that you're known for is gossiping. Not too long ago, like a couple of years back, like 2016, 17, she was Ubering or whatever. She
That ain't.
lost
I'm sorry.
she lost custody of her son to her baby dad.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, over some kind of, I don't know, some kind of conflict, some type of issue. I don't know exactly what it was, but the dad got custody of her, and
Mhm.
then she's been Ubering, and then she got famous off of the same gossipy talk, making videos while she Ubering about the people that she be talking about for the past couple of years. And after a while, she just start making more waves doing that shit or whatever. Because for most people, it's like if they knew about Jaguar Wright, they're probably like, "That's Jaguar Wright. She a neo soul artist." And neo soul artists have the stereotype of being that pure conscious music type person. That don't necessarily mean they are themselves. Look at Talib Kweli. Anyway,
Indeed. Indeed.
and so it's easy to believe what she say at first, you know, because you're thinking, why would she have any reason to lie about these type of things, right? But
Mhm.
with me, and when it comes to God, and when people suddenly just get famous off the music, off the social media and brag and gossiping and shit like that, I ask myself, where's the money? Where
Right.
is the money going? Who got the money? And
Indeed.
why? And are they doing this for money or whatever?
Oh
And she
man.
ain't got no album out.
I'm gonna say this, man. I think she's doing okay. I don't think it's for money. It's gonna tie into my overall point of view for the evening, right? And the theme of the show for the evening, right? If you saw the title of the show, you know, civilization is over. I do feel like she's a sign for that. But before I get to that, I'm gonna tie it in and I'm gonna segue to the next point with this. But I want to speak to last call real quick first. Okay, so Umar does speak some true shit sometimes, and he ain't shit. This is true. I think the difference between Jaguar Wright and Orlando Brown and Umar is Jaguar Wright and Orlando Brown, their talking points are not to drive a donation. It is to drive a point of view, a narrative, a thought process, a
Mm-hmm.
particular conversation to the masses, right? Whereas Umar is really only trying to drive people to go back to the PayPal or Cash App to give money. Those are two different grips. Those are two different intents and ways of attacking. They speak to a similar group of people or similar demographic as far as socioeconomic and educational background, right? But I don't think that they're necessarily in the same lane. So I can't give them the same lane. They all ain't shit in my opinion in some way, form, or fashion. Because I think that goes to my main opinion, right? I think they're all just false prophets, right? Like no matter what you're being paid to be, no matter what you're being paid or what's the motivation behind it, if you're doing something that's causing the degradation of black culture or culture in general in society, something is wrong, and that's a problem. So you are a problem. And I think that that's what all of them have in common. But I think their methodology is definitely very different. I wouldn't put them in the same class as Umar. I would put Umar more in the class of like one of the mega church preachers that are kind of off, or one of those type of people. Those people that's like they're playing off of a thing just to get the payout. Whereas I
Umar
think
Dollar, Creflo,
right. Whereas
Kevlar,
I think Orlando and Jaguar playing on narratives to get opportunity or to get attention that they're otherwise not able to get because their talent is no longer giving them that
and that's the money that I'm talking about.
access.
That's the money I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I just see it as a different thing. I think it's all fucked up and it's all like playing on people's emotions and
Mhm.
intelligence. So it's all not right. I just think it's two different things. So I wouldn't group them together. That's all I mean.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I do think they all play to a place of like the false prophet narrative. Before I get into the civilization and decline conversation, and I'm glad last call popped up for this. Shout out to you,
What up?
last
What up?
call. Welcome, my brother.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
we got it's about maybe 5 or 6 of us partners now. It starts with the original 3, but we've branched out so much now. So last call is definitely the 4th partner. So welcome. I'm glad you actually here for this conversation. I think this is one you might be able to sink your teeth into and add in some extra perspective. Pause on that. My bad. Um, so I'm gonna bring this up real quick. I, Let me set it up first. All right, so in watching clips of Orlando Brown, Jaguar Wright, I'm watching these. I'm watching the election clips. I'm watching different interviews that the candidates are doing. I'm watching Daily Show. Jordan Klepper do his. You know how he always goes out to their different rallies and
That
just
nigga.
shows how ignorant a lot of the American public can be. Um,
You know what he remind me of, Kepler?
what's, what's that?
His vibe reminds me of Parks from Joe Budden. To
I can
me.
see that. Yeah,
Yeah,
very. It's
they
like a
got the
dry wit.
same type of humor.
Very much a dry wit, but very highbrow and intelligent. Like it's not
Mhm.
dumb stuff. Like it's if you're smart, you'll get it. If you're
Yeah,
not, it's a lot of it just gonna be like pew,
you gonna think it's dumb unless you're smart, basically.
100, 100. Yeah. But in watching a lot of this, right, I started to have these thoughts, right. I'm thinking like, okay, there's a lot of shit going on that's fucked up at the same time, right? You got people spreading crazy narratives over here. You got the economy falling apart over here. You got xenophobia at a high over here. You got racism coming back over here. You got the social economic gap really growing between those that have and the have-nots, right? You got worldwide tension at a high, right? And all of these things are happening at the same time. And I'm starting to think like, okay, this feels like end of Rome, end of Carthage, end of Egypt, end of India of these end of the Mongol Empire, end of any of these great empires that you think of over the years, right? And I'm looking at Western civilization in specific America, but I would just say those places that are highly influenced by our way of life and our way of governing economy, etc., right? Culture. So it made me start to be like, is our civilization in decline? And then when I had the thought, I was like, all right, let me get some information together first before I just say this, because I want to make sure if I'm gonna have a conversation, I at least come with some like facts that we can at least discuss and debate or whatever, right? So I have a take on it, obviously, but I figured
Mhm.
it would be cool to just kind of go through each of these signs that a civilization can be in decline and see if they apply or not to our current state of being in specifically America, but in Western society in general. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Right on. So follow me if you will. I know, like I might. I hope I don't lose nobody with this because I
I'm
know
with you. I'm with you.
this might be a little highbrow for the average, but we going there tonight. So these are the signs based on what these are the signs that anthropologists, archaeologists, other people who study ancient civilization. These are the signs that they kind of use to show whether or not civilization should have been in decline, whether it was in decline, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So these are things that should be going on, or you can probably find in a civilization when it is on the verge of losing its luster or at least transitioning to a lower status than where it was in the previous era, right?
Or collapse.
Correct. We would call it a collapse, but I'm gonna get to why you collapse may not be the right word, but it basically means that civilization is declining. It is losing its former power, influence, etc. All right. So one of the first things, right, is environmental degradation. When we look at the country in general, our, our air quality is shit. We're trying to move to better ways of farming energy, but we're still stuck on fracking and all these weird ass things that's basically fucking up the earth, right? We have more wildfire wildfires because of the fact that we're so much deforestation that is like becoming the normal barriers that we used to have naturally are now gone. So you see more of these issues. Even if you just ride down your street, I know for me in my area, right? I don't necessarily live in a rural area by any means, but I can just ride up and down the street in the city and see like so much wildlife on the in the middle of the street that should not be there. Because technically this should not be where you're living, but we done carved out so many areas. It's like, well, we ain't got nowhere else to go. So hey, what's up, y'all? Walk across Peachtree. Like, so I personally see it, and I think a lot of the signs that we see when we talk about a lot of the conversations we have environmentally as far as policy and as far as what people are arguing over in Congress, in these political conversations, in these economical conversations with big business, a lot of it is over whether or not we're going to continue to take from the environment versus give to it. And so far, we have not yet curbed our appetite to take it from it. What say ye's?
Yeah, definitely. Every day is a new development. Every day is a new apartment complex. Every day I see a piece of roadkill off to the side of the road.
See, we're gonna get too intellectual tonight. So we're gonna lose a lot of people tonight, but damn it. I'm telling y'all, this Tuesday matters, y'all. I'm telling y'all. All right, so we got the environmental degradation, right? And then we go to climate change. Another thing that's almost a direct effect of this cause. You see the weird weather swings. You see us having summer like weather literally in the middle of what should be fall, and then the very next week it being a complete winter meltdown, and it's frosty as fuck outside, and there's no in between. And we used to have 4 seasons. I remember it. I lived through it. I'm old enough to remember it. And this is in the course of what, 30 years? I'm looking at the long-term projection. We look at 100 years from now. What does the environment actually look like? What does the climate look like at that point? Does it even do we even recognize it in our different hemispheres as the weather we used to, or the weather that should have been the climate for what we are used to in that area?
Shoot, the simple fact that there's scientists openly saying climate change for the past 15 years and shit, longer than that, really, or whatever. That just proves that this shit is true.
And
And
am I not?
every day,
Go ahead. My fault.
every other week, I'm either getting a winter or I'm getting a summer.
Indeed.
Shit's
Indeed.
annoying, making me sick.
And if I'm not mistaken, maybe when I say a few, I probably mean about 10, 15. But I remember like in the recent history, California went through like decades long drought where they couldn't even use water in a certain way there. Like it was like a public mandate of like you gotta limit your water usage because we in a drought.
Going back to environmental degradation.
Indeed.
Flint, Michigan.
Indeed. Come on, bro. You can't drink the water in certain large metropolitan areas. That's crazy work.
Mm-hmm.
That means huge swaths of people have to pay for water, right? Which then starts to lead to the very next thing, right? Inequality and oligarchy. Well, wealth and political inequality can lead to social disintegration and make it harder for a society to respond to problems. So you're looking at a situation where we are so separated by wealth and political ideologies that we can't interact well, which means we can't actually come together and solve the problems that are actually ravaging our society at large because we're so like segregated and broke off into these different little sects of different ideologies and different groups. Okay, we got this much money, so we're gonna hang out over here in the billionaires club. All right, we're gonna let them hang over there, and they too liberal, and then we're gonna let them hang over there because they too conservative. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then all this shit is fucking us all up, but we can't get together and actually figure it out because I ain't fucking with them.
Let me whoops, sorry.
Come on in, brother.
I didn't know if you were gonna go through the list or if you were gonna stop on each point. Are you gonna stop on each point?
I was gonna stop so to kind of let each one breathe to see. So the goal is to like look at each one because like one, it may be one that doesn't even fit, or I may feel like so. To me, I'm gonna go ahead and put my take out there. I feel like this list is exactly what we're saying, right?
Okay.
But we may get to one where you and Pat both feel like, okay, nah, that don't actually line up, or the chat as well. So then I want to make sure that like this not just my view, it actually makes sense, and have the discussion on are we actually declining, or is it just me seeing this because I want to see it because that's what I'm viewing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was gonna let each one breathe. So like if you have anything on anyone, feel free to jump in there and like expound upon it, disagree, agree, give more of a perspective, add any context or detail that you might know if you know like a historical fact or something about something. Hey, it's all free game. It's just open convo.
Gotcha.
Indeed, my brother. And open convo, whenever you want to jump in. But
all right. So just a couple points then.
Absolutely.
Since I think we're up to about climate change. So let me try to.
We are actually at inequality and oligarchy, but get on it.
Okay, good.
One of the first.
All right. So one of the the big question is civilization in decline. I think anytime a civilization begins to rise and has to depend and trade with other nations and thus civilizations as well, it begins its decline. Whenever it's not a utopia and it's not self-sufficient, it's constantly in decline because it depends on these other factors. We know the saying that absolute power corrupts, absolutely. and we know this because there are always figures that could be corrupted in these civilizations and in these nations as well as they do. When I do a little fast forward and when things get into drastic decline and things become an emergency, the privileged and that class that you're talking about already have an escape route, other than the commoners and those people as well. The ones that aren't so privileged but have the resources will benefit from those things already. Kind of like the Titanic theory. The guys working in the room, the coal room, the servants and what, they're not gonna get on those boats, those side boats. But the rich ones, everybody else already have those escape mechanisms and systems to go somewhere else and be saved.
Shit,
right?
Even with Rose and Jack, goddamn Rose, rich ass wouldn't let Jack on that damn door for nothing.
But who was Jack?
Both of them on there. If you don't let that thing on there with your big head ass,
exactly.
You in that damn bed.
He was able to
fuck your poor ass Jack.
Have a little bit of resources to get on there as well. As metaphoric as that is, he was able to at least hang on a little longer than some of his homeboys he was hanging with at the beginning of the film.
But all because he had found that access through Rose, though.
Yes. Yeah.
Love motivation. Yeah. Yep.
Still, right. All right. So change that with anything. So a couple things with environmental degradation. We're over 8 billion strong on the planet right now. We're not going to stop making babies. People are fucking and making babies and stuff. At the same time, people are losing lives. And that's kind of just the way that it goes as far as pollution. You guys mentioned things like Flint and Michigan, all things that I think have to do with biodiversity and what kids are doing in school with STEM or STEAM, whatever you want to call it, and finding new ways to use these same resources and be smarter with them. Africa's a big ass continent. They are now finding ways for irrigation and sending water to these small towns, villages, and tribes that never experienced that before, right? We have We have, oh, that's a lot better. we have, we have, of course, Africa was picked of a lot of their resources, but the minerals, right? They're not running out of the more natural stuff that we could use for food. And, you know, they might not have concrete, this, that, the other, but they have things that have lasted as long as the pyramids also, you know.
Right.
It's just we do have to manage these things. I don't believe it's as much as a crisis as we're led to believe. Like, I really don't even believe that we have to individual recycle at our places, because they do it anyway at the goddamn the plant at the, they send all the garbage and all that kind of stuff too.
Right.
So I will agree that there has been some sort of climate change. Like, yeah, I remember the seasons as well. It's October. I remember a little brush of snow sometimes, or
Bruh,
it's November. It's November now. Jeez.
man, having snowball fights every year.
Yeah, and you know, we know this El Nino, this, that, the other, but
Oh, El Nino.
you know, things are going to change with this planet, whether we speed it up or we slow it down because of our own pollution. That could be debated as well, and I'm sure we do with 8 billion people on the planet in the way that we're going through a lot of the resources. But we're in a place where the Earth rotates. It's a man-made schedule. It's a man-made calendar. We move the time back. We move the time forward. All this sort of stuff, so we could adjust to what's going on as humans onto the planet. I don't really stick to that calendar and the changing of the seasons verbatim on those days, because it's nature. Nature's going to do whatever nature has to do to set itself. If it needs to do a flood or a tsunami to wash some of that shit away, where there's too many people, then that's just what it does. That's what
Indeed.
you know.
Indeed.
The Earth is going to defend itself. Remember, they were talking. Were you on there yesterday on a brother of a certain ages? Somebody brought up that shitty movie.
I was out trick or treating with the
All right,
brother.
somebody brought up that shitty movie, The Happening, which I fucking hate that movie. I think the acting was terrible.
I remember
All
that.
that bullshit.
The
But at
plants
least,
took the earth back.
right. But at least they said something, you know, scientific that I agreed with. How brutal and how unknowingly the Earth could be when it's defending itself, which was the
Right.
basis of the plot for the movie. You
Right.
know, so as brutal as it's going to be, the Earth is going to defend itself from whatever we're doing. Now, can it, like anything, can it defend itself from man-made shit that we're doing? Probably won't be able to keep up the way we're doing stuff. But I mean, that's why we're trying to put some of these stuff in order. The corruption comes because the money's too big, and these big companies aren't going to back out and stop making using oil and, you know, metal refineries, this, that, the other. That's where humans are really going to get fucked on the greed aspect of anything. But, you know, the Earth is very strong, and it's going to defend itself. We just got to slow it down a little bit for all these people. And even if we don't, that's where technology comes in to speed up years of, I guess, so-called progress of making these waterways, making it rain. Agent Orange, you know, was a big question, and the way that they
I'm gonna
controlled
make it
the
rain.
weather back in Vietnam as well, you know, is questionable. So they could do shit like that if
Right.
really need be, to
If they
tap
want.
into the system. Right. For the right reasons. You know, to do
If
it.
they want to.
Right. The Sahara Desert, they can make that tropical again. You
Now
know,
this is my thing though,
Mhm,
and this is where we get into if they want to, right? So
mhm,
you have countries all over the world, right? We have 8 billion people, but there are certain countries where the planet is still operating much as it did when our kids were young, or when we were young, or when our
mhm,
grandparents were young.
mhm,
And then you have areas like America where shit is all over the place.
mhm,
I'm a firm believer that, and like, yes, humans being on the earth are going to cause changes and cause things over time to be altered by just the definition and just the implication of them being in existence in the numbers, especially that we are, right?
mhm,
But I do think that there are populations of the world that are doing things in ways that are more harmful than others, and you see more issues in those areas than others. And I would say that America is one of those places.
mhm, mhm,
So it's not that like it's not that environmental degradation won't happen in general just by proxy. It's more that it is happening in a way that is affecting our climate specifically in this area. And
Okay.
because of that, it is leading to we also have all of these other issues because of that same type of mentality that leads us to be one of the countries that leads in environmental degradation, right? And you can
Okay.
also look at China, or you can look at a lot of these other major countries that have similar ideals as far as how they move economically and how they move um with in regards to their idea about what the environment is, right? And you would notice that those areas have more drastic climate change. They have more like drastic crop and when we're talking about climate change, like I think we're thinking about like the weather, like more hurricanes, it get
Mhm.
colder. But
Yeah.
we're also talking about things like, oh, all of a sudden crops stop growing because it's like it's not crazy different. It's just different enough that these crops no longer are in their natural temperature.
Mm.
Mhm.
So now you got populations dying off of starvation, or you got civil unrest because these people are starving all of a sudden, and at a higher rate than what might have been natural as its normal drought and then wet period pattern for that region, right? So I'm talking about more than one place, but I'm sticking to America because I feel like, for one, this is where we live, but for two, like I also see like a higher number of some of these other things, right? So when we skip past the environmental and the climate change, maybe we'll just say that's the world, right? That's just the world. Cool. We're gonna keep on narrowing it down as we go through this list. Watch the inequality and oligarchy. Literally, the biggest issue this election is the difference in how poor people see what the biggest issues are in our country and how wealthy people see the biggest issues. There are no more middle class. Let's get that out of our head. You are either people who are struggling to pay rent or not paying it, or you are the people who are paying it and you're going on trips and you're living life lavish.
Mhm.
It has gotten to the point where the middle class is still like, think about it. If you were able to pay at least 4 grand a month in New York City in 19 in 2013, you probably had a normal apartment, maybe 2 bedroom, not nothing crazy, right? You ain't got no super
If
extravagant condo loft that's thousands of square feet and all that, but you got a nice joint. You got a nice joint that if you brought somebody back there, you bring your parents back there, they like, oh, this is nice. You're doing all right for yourself.
Mhm.
Now that will get you a shoe closet.
mm-hmm.
That will get you the coat closet in the front room. Don't worry about cooking nothing. You're gonna have to go somewhere else for that. You better go to 7-Eleven, use the microwave.
Mhm.
So like when you're looking at like even like the and this is people who have good jobs. We're not talking about people who are like working in jobs that are low paying. We're talking about people who should be making the middle class, but there's no more middle class.
And I'm saying, even with that, you can't make comparisons of when our parents or grandparents bought a house for like 25 cents. Like
No,
years
no.
ago.
I'm
Things
talking
are
about even if you
so,
adjust things for inflation, right? Say our
yeah.
parents were buying them for all right, so just for inflation, the $30,000 house that somebody bought when I was a kid, let's say
Hmm.
that's 100,000, right?
Hmm.
But when we look at what the house is, still a good house.
Right.
It's not crazy. I'm not talking about people who were living lavish. I'm talking about people who had regular shit when we were growing up. They had maybe one car, a regular house. The kids weren't in private school, but they might have took one good little family vacation a year.
Hmm.
The daddy might have worked at the little plant, mama might have worked at the university. Won't nobody rich, but they were doing all right. Like they won't hurting, they won't live in paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
The parents might have been able to actually send their kid to college.
Yeah.
No fast food. We just pay in installments. But
Yeah.
we was able to do that. And that was off of a regular, these were regular people. These same people, what I'm saying is, no matter how you adjust it for inflation, are paying the same amount for way less, which means that now they have to work harder to get way more to make basic. So so now like people who are like working pretty decent jobs are pretty much what is effectively poor.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They're living with the parents.
Yeah.
Coach Hoplin,
Yeah.
they're they're living with 6 and 7 people to a crib to pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving around like, and this is most of people.
Shit, me.
We're talking about when we were growing up, a two-parent household meant you weren't, or you might not be rich, but you were going to be okay. You were going to be able to eat
Mm-hmm.
every night. You were going to be able to dress in new clothes every year. Might not be like Balenciagas and all that shit, but you can have a nice pair of Nikes.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be Jordans, but you can get some Griffeys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This was regular shit. I'm talking about when I was growing up. My mom would have been considered broke because she was a single parent. And guess
Mm-hmm.
what? I still had a normal childhood. Like if I wanted to play a sport, my mom could scrounge up the money. Now it might be tight around the crib. Don't mean nothing never got cut off, but we weren't like poor.
Mm-hmm.
That same exact everything. Now you're poor.
Yeah.
You cannot do what my mom did for me. Oh hell no.
And that too many taxes and insurance on top of
It's
that too.
crazy. But
Too
look
many
what it
fees, too many agencies, all that sort of stuff.
indeed. And
And all
then
these.
people that leaves. Oh, go ahead, Pat. My bad.
No, I was just putting in my little background 2 cents. All these agencies are scams.
A
Oh,
hundred,
of course.
100.
And
But then,
insurances.
but look what it leads to. Then that's where you get the oligarchy. You get the social disconnects. You get those people in. Pat, we are in the beautiful microcosm for this conversation. Look at Atlanta. You get the people who are, oh, I drive a Bentley and I do this, and then you get everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You get the people who are, I'm on a yacht every weekend, and they literally turn their nose up because they're literally shoulder to shoulder with the people who have not left their neighborhood in 20 years because they can't.
Mm-hmm.
Going downtown to Peachtree Street is going out of town. That's big. That's doing it big for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. It literally leads to the point where we are so sectioned off to where like we can't like, and then it politicizes things because you stop looking at things as just like, oh damn, this is a rights thing or like a human condition thing. It's, well look, it's because your president did this to me. But no, when your president was in office, he did it. Well, look at your senator. Well, look at your governor and your attorney
Mm-hmm.
general, and it becomes, you get all of these different little groups and these little
Mm-hmm.
mini groups to the point where so sectioned off, and we all feel like we're being oppressed and we're being downtrodden and we're being given the raw end of the deal, to the point where we have like these major societal problems that are fucking everybody up. Everybody's struggling.
Included.
But we can't fix the economy because we so broken off.
Mm-hmm.
You a Trumper. Well, you fuck with Kamala. Well, damn it. We both pope. You wanna work together? You wanna get some money? Wanna figure out how to turn this shit around? No, because it's that, right? And then it goes right to the next thing. We live through a fucking pandemic, niggas.
Mm-hmm.
Degrading public health, plagues, diseases, substance addictions, and unintentional societal poisoning. Since I've been alive, well, all right, before I was alive, you had a good maybe hundreds of years of opium and alcohol. Those were the things.
Mhm.
Then you got to, okay, we got a good 30 some years of, we own the heroin and we own the cocaine, right? And then you got a good 20 some years of the crack. In the past 40 years, 30 to 40 years, we have went through every 5 to 6 years. It's a new epidemic of a drug. It's the better crack. It's the meth. It's the fentanyl. It's the lean. It's the pills. It's the this. It's the that. It's the super meth. It's the pink cocaine. It's the super dolphin. It's the rala rala. It's the ruka ruka. It's the, man, goddamn.
Crocodile.
We talking about
Holy
years of
shit.
one thing being the thing, and now we go through substance addictions like crazy. Almost every, it's literally a generation of people who glorify the addicts because they're all addicts.
Mm.
So when we get to this right here, when we just stop right here, right? Look at this unintentional societal poisoning. Y'all ate at McDonald's?
Of course.
Have you felt how you feel afterwards now? Now we all grew up eating McDonald's and felt fine. Eat at McDonald's now and see what your stomach do.
Oh no, I don't eat McDonald's because of that. I haven't eaten
But
McDonald's.
look, degrading public
Man.
health. Why? Because we gotta feed everybody. We got more people. We gotta hurry up and get it to them. We
Some
gotta
goddamn
make sure everybody eat. And then we're eating 30 goddamn burgers at a time. So it used to be we making one meal at a time back there in the kitchen. Now we making 17 meals per order because these fat fucks want to eat everything.
Yeah.
Look, there's a couple things. Let me.
And again, because we start with this environmental degradation. So that means we have less good crops and less space in which to actually enjoy natural things that we used to do. So then we start going inside. We're watching more TV and shit, and climate change forces us more inside because now the air quality is shit. We don't know what the weather gonna be. It's either too hot or too cold, and we can't never get comfortable because the next storm coming. So we in the house playing the game, watching the tube, talking on the internet, whatever the case may be, as because of these first two things, wealth and political inequality are kicking our ass and we're sectioned off. So now that we're sectioned off, we can't deal with these plagues, diseases, and substance addictions and unintentional societal poisoning. You got generations of kids that don't go outside.
Mm.
That's why they high as fuck, because they bored and they don't know what else to do. And they done played every game. They done mastered every app. Well, what else did they do? Let me pop a pill. Let me pop a perk.
Let me. Have you heard of the Obama deception at all?
I've heard of the movie, but I haven't seen it.
All right. So, because I can't remember it verbatim, let me just hit you with a few points and how, when you push back the veil of these distractions from these points that we need to look at critically, how it's damn near impossible to overcome these things of wealth and political inequality. So I'm going to be messing up some of the names, the dates, and all that stuff, but you could go check,
All right.
for a little more accuracy that my memory
So
won't.
if you get a chance, watch the Obama deception, my people.
Right. One of the things.
Don't trip out the details. You'll get the details, but he's just making a point right now.
So it's not really about Obama like that, first of all. So let me say that. It's more about the constructs of whoever the leader is now of the United States, doesn't matter. But more specifically, how the country is set up on this financial infrastructure. And I'm going to put a little bit of my opinion in here as well. So we know when we talk about the federal bank, they tell you the federal bank is as federal as Federal Express.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with the nation. Has nothing to do with
Yeah,
politics.
the Fed is its own entity, separate from
It's
the
its
government,
own
separate
entity.
from everything. Yeah, they actually have their own set of
Right.
regulations. They can't actually be.
So
They
two
really
things.
they can't be fully regulated by the government technically.
So it has nothing to do with nothing. So to put it in layman's terms, this country made a deal with this entity that didn't have the people's interest in mind at all, as basically gangsters to get money and pay them back money. Just about 60 years after this country had free labor for 300 years, it went bankrupt.
Right.
It went bankrupt, belly up, right? From the Great Depression, which
Right.
means they couldn't handle it. They got all these decades and centuries of free work and couldn't handle it when people sort of went free. Because remember, they weren't free till another 100 years. So
I'm gonna tell you what fucked it up. It
here's the
wasn't.
weird thing. Here's what and I think Truman is the one that apologized for this, but very short-sighted. We are very fooled on a daily basis, especially if we're middle class or lower, because we're part of this agreement. And part of this agreement is, if you buy into this country and what it is, what will allow you to do if you work hard enough, what will allow you to do is own a little bit of land that you could call your own. You could have your little car that you pay for, insure us, whatever you work for, you're going to pay taxes on that. You buy that house, you're going to pay taxes on the thing that you already paid taxes on out of your check. Whatever you go to the store, you're going to pay even more taxes on that, even after we take up the taxes from you originally.
So
And if you have kids, we're going to put them in the same system that you have adapted to and that you support, so they could feed into and pay this debt that you didn't agree to.
now watch this. I'm gonna piggyback off of that, and I'm gonna hit you with this.
I think I actually.
I feel like it's not the Fed, because I'm gonna tell you the Fed. That was there since the 1700, like late 1700s, early 1800s, when back of Hamilton and all of them. But I think what fucked this country up is two things: going away from the gold standard and creating the stock market. If you look at both of those things, it was basically cryptocurrency before crypto.
I think that
So we no longer had, so like if you look at every form of trade before we went away from the gold standard, right? And before we got into stocks and bonds and commodities and these futures and all of these hypothetical kind of arbitrary, like abstract types of financial interactions, right? Before that, it was tangible goods for tangible service, or tangible goods for tangible goods. I give you 5 fruit, you give me a mule. I give you 6 gallons of goat milk, you give me 3 pounds of butter. You know what I mean? Like, we are exchanging something real. Even when we go to the
I
gold
hear what you're saying.
standard, this
But all
this
of that,
piece of paper is backed by this amount of gold. So if you turn it in, you can get this tangible thing that can then be traded with other cultures because it still holds its exact value, right? When we go away from that, you then allow the control of the economy to go away from the consumers and the people who are actually doing the financial transactions, to go to the bankers who are simply collecting the monies and moving them around. And that was a major shift in like how we do business. It went from, I can give you this paper and it's backed by something, I'm giving you this paper and it's basically just a prompt that
yeah,
says, hey, yeah, I guess, sure.
I definitely hear what you're saying, but I think all of that goes under the umbrella, and this is where some of my stuff gets fuzzy. Under the umbrella of what I believe Truman had signed, basically signing over the country to this entity.
Mm-hmm.
All of it falls under that, under him doing that to the country.
Okay,
He
I
put
got
the
you.
country in
Understood.
debt.
Understood.
You understand what I'm saying?
100. And if
Yeah.
he gave this group this power to do these things, and then that would explain how they're able to then implement stock market, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
I got you.
So
I got you.
he more or less gave him permission to move with immunity without the countries or any regulation to be able to do that.
So I would say, forget the gold standard is probably more under the umbrella of what you're talking about. I would say stocks and stuff were around before Truman.
Yes.
But I think that idea plays into what you get the Fed then doing by taking away the gold standard and making it so that it's a paper standard and it's based off of whatever the speculation of that group is and how much the dollar's worth is based off of what they have considered it to be under whatever their algorithm is and whatever math they use.
Right. By
But
like
it's no
signing the paper,
real,
they're like, and we're going to take like a monopoly, and we're
just
going to take this,
yeah,
and we're going to pull this too under us,
yeah,
to be able to function for you.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna tell you how much your dollar is worth today.
Yes.
It's basically the same thing as that they did with gas. Like instead of gas being based on the actual scarcity and how much it is, it's based on however much somebody tells you it is that day. Because we don't really know the price of gas. It's really based on speculation, which basically literally means I am guessing. It's $4 today. I think you know what
Right.
feels good today. I don't see no wars over there. We'll say it's 2.
Exactly
But we
what
don't
that
really know.
is.
Like I mean, we don't know what the actual scarcity is, or how much surplus we got, and whether it really should be really like 99 cents. We just know that that's what somebody's just in a room just damn, you know what, man? I had a rough shit today. Let's make it 4. You know what? Set them up to 10. Fuck it.
Just another gold
Crazy.
castle for a Saudi Arabian prince
100.
over there.
And then when we go from that, again, we had the wealth and political inequality that we're talking about right now, which leads to us being not able to be together enough to deal with the degrading public health. And we end up with these nutritional challenges as well, because now we're going through these first 4 things, right? And I genuinely believe that America is not fat just because we greedy. I believe America is a nation of comfort eaters. We're all stressed the fuck out, and we're all under a constant sense of like impending doom and pressure, whether it
I
be
know I
through
am.
the narratives we're constantly given through the media, whether it be through the actual real life everyday pressures of like finances being wonky, food not being great, just the culture that we live in, constantly pushing things that push us apart. So we're struggling with just everyday social relationships, all this stuff is breaking down, and you get us then emotionally eating, which is why we're always running the wing stop and all this shit. Not because we necessarily want it. I know a lot of people that eat bullshit all the time and hate the shit.
Yeah.
It's literally just, man, it was the quickest thing to me, man.
And you know how you justify it.
Man, you know what, man? I had a rough day today, man. I just need man. That shit made me feel good, man. I just need to, just chill out, man. You know,
you
even
just
going
justify it by
down to the people who gotta overdrink or overindulge in the pills or overindulge in whatever the meths or the whatever's. It all from this comfort. I'm looking for that. I just need a break from this stuff.
It's my cheat day, or hey, I ain't doing crack.
We're gonna find a way to make it feel better. And then you end up on my 600-pound life still ordering 14 pieces to the crib, and it's just you and your girlfriend. And she bringing it to you in the bed, propping them up on your belly. That's your table now.
Another thing, I know I don't want to lead on to other things here as well, but the degradation of public health, this ties into the things that we're talking about also. You know, why gas is there, why we're doing things that harm the environment and ourselves. The other part of that is that health is very big business also.
100%. We can make more money.
It pays better not to cure anything, but to prolong the care.
You
right?
Because it's gonna go right back to this. It goes from here right back to here, right?
Absolutely.
Because look,
absolutely.
As soon as let's make them sick. Let's fuck up the food. Let's give them all of these nutritional issues, right? We already got climate change fucking up the farming, fucking up the ecosystem. So we can't plant the stuff that we used to. Farms ain't giving out the same yield as they used to. Same quality of crops. So now when we want to give them these GMOs and these lab made bananas that's big as fuck looking crazy,
Right.
When we want to
Super
give them,
red apples.
yeah, when we want to give them this grape that's bigger than they had, yeah, let's we can sell it to them because they ain't had no good fruit in a minute because the damn phone's fucked up. And then guess what? We're gonna send their ass right back to here because now that they sick, we used to get medicine for a normal wage. You got insurance, you can get medicine for a general rate. You sick as hell, we're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right as long as you got insurance. Now you got insurance, they got fucking medicine that's thousands of dollars for a goddamn 30-day supply.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And they
yeah.
all for diseases that affect people that's old as fuck that no longer have jobs and don't fix income.
Yeah.
Knowing it's gonna kill them.
Well, nothing's more evident than, and again, we're going back to the privileged few that could afford these things. I'm familiar with the cancer struggle and what healthcare has done. Right. My father, he has cancer and stuff, but he's got pretty good healthcare. Right. And where he is now, and because of his profession and everything, he's getting the medication that he needs. Right. But there are other people that can't get this tablet that, man, I think it almost cost $10,000 for this medication a month.
Sound about right.
Right. And if you can't get this medication, there's a generic one that is even other thousands of dollars.
Yep.
And of course, if you can't get that in the US, there's a homeopathic bullshit sort of way to prevent you from dying as fast, basically.
Put these
right
herbs in the water.
Basically,
Pray
that
over
shit
3 times a day. Do some yoga and then let somebody rub your feet.
Counterclock.
Yeah, I
So
know how that go.
Same deal. What you could afford. The food that you eat, all this sort of stuff. It really comes down to preserve yourself with money if you got it. Those sort of resources.
Are y'all seeing the connections yet, though? And watch this. So you got these first 5, right? We got environmental degradation. We got climate change. We got inequality and oligarchy. We got degrading public health. And then we got nutritional challenges. And then when you look around us at the quality of music, if you look at the state of all forms of art, what is the general consensus and the general argument, no matter what the generation is?
It's watered down.
Man, this ain't the same no more, man. This ain't good no more, man. People ain't doing it right no more.
Mid. It's
And
mid.
and we're not talking about art coming out of Africa. We're not talking about
dumb
art
them down
out of Europe. We're talking about art coming out of America. That
This
is
is the
getting this
age
type
of mid.
of label. It's not good no more, right?
Age
at
of mid.
all.
And it's because what's happening? You got the people up there high as fuck. They sit. They not getting along with each other, so they can't even enjoy the music together. You go to a party, people just in their cliques taking pictures and selfies and videos of themselves.
Word.
Ordering bottles. They all segregated to their own little groups. Nobody's interacting. There used to be one big dance floor. Now it's like little sections. Clubs don't even worry about a dance floor no more. They just make sections.
Make more money off of that anyway.
Put a few tables right here, a few tables right here, a few tables right here, a few tables right here. Put a little rope around these tables, we got it. They gonna dance in the section anyway.
And
it's to a lower quality of art.
Listen, at some of these rich parties and stuff, and even in colleges, some of the joints they put on is the most degrading black shit.
Yeah.
These guys won't even sit down and do business with you, but when they want to get dumb in the party, all fucked up, they're picking up your version of art.
Yep. But that's the thing. Nobody but look like all right, watch this. I would go to a party when I was a kid. I would listen to a song at the party. And then I would go home and I would listen to the song. And you get a different vibe depending on where you're at. If you're riding in the car, if you're at the party, if you're at you hear it in somebody else's car, they ride past. It's a different vibe every time you hear a song depending on what's going on. But I would take that same song home and I would listen to it and I would get something out of it that I would then apply to my life. I get a new way to talk to a girl better. I get a new way to come up with a business idea. I get a new way to,
Mhm.
feel motivated and realize, okay, I'm gonna be all right today. I can get up out of this. I found a new way to, talk to my parent. Found a new way to, politic with my bros and make sure I'm being a good. Like it was always a little jewel in there. Now it's just literally. Then a party, 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 party,
Yeah,
party, party, scam, do fucked up shit. Kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. And I ain't
just
against.
stupid shit.
I'm not saying you can't talk about killing in your song.
Mhm.
I grew up listening to songs that would talk about that. I'm not saying you can't talk about getting with girls in your song. I grew up listening. It's not the specific topic. It's the fact that there's no other piece to it. Even in UGK, you would listen to them talking about, they selling, rocks, but they also giving you the other side, like, hey man, and I'm trying to do this for my fam, and my homeboy died, and I'm taking care of kid, and you was getting these little lessons of like, okay, I need to move like that. I need to make sure my bro go down. I got his back. I need to make sure, hey, I need to watch out for this. Hey, if I do make this decision, look at what's about to happen. Like it was giving you game. It was feeding you
Yeah, yeah.
if that makes sense. Now the art is literally just all right. There's two types of art. There's art where the artist is making it to make a statement or to express something to the world. Then there's art that's made just to make art.
Mm. I hear you. I hear you.
You hear me?
Just to be
There's the
part of the genre.
there's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
art I'm doing at the sip and paint just to paint. It
yeah.
may be a beautiful picture. But then there's the art that I'm at home and I'm making it because I'm going through something or I'm feeling something good or I'm going through something and I want to express this in a way that my words won't do justice. Or if it is words, me just saying it ain't gonna do it. I need to put this into a expression of. I need to express it, but
Right.
it's coming from something. It's something there. It's not. I'm just doing this to get a check.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this just to do it. And there's a big difference. When you go to work, when you get somebody that go to work and they love what they do and they doing it, they would do it for half the price. They would do it for free if they could still just eat.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm, mhm.
That same job done by somebody who's doing it because they want the check from the job on Friday. It's gonna look completely different. They both might do a good job, but you can tell the one it's an essence. It's an inspiration that as a human you naturally feel a thing from this thing that's expressed from real art. That other art, you might be like, oh, that's dope. You can
Mm,
draw, you can paint, you can sing, you can dance, you can whatever, but it don't move nothing.
mm.
Which is why you got all of these kids numb because it ain't nothing for them to get inspired by no more. Like we could feel fucked up about life and go in the room and listen to an album of ours and be like, "Damn, man, I'm gonna be this. Yeah, I'm about to go do this shit."
Well, this is well, two things with that, and let me just stick with the music for now.
Reach on it, my brother.
This so when I was a teen and I was getting into like Public Enemy, these guys or BDP or any of these guys, they were speaking over my head. I didn't know, I didn't read the autobiographies yet. You know, they were speaking a few steps beyond. There's that. And they were allowed to speak a few steps beyond because they had to go through a few channels to be the best to get their platform, as opposed to what's going on today. You only need to, you could get on any platform and start getting popular if your music hits. But what's making your music hit is that it's not as challenging as it was. You're either, low hanging fruit.
You
Definition
saying
of
what I'm
low hanging
saying?
fruit.
You saying
You're
what I'm
not
saying?
challenging your listeners. So you're
Exactly.
reaching directly those low-hanging fruit people that don't want to be challenged. You're speaking their level. So now you're getting if back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s, if it were just crackheads talking to crackheads, it would be the same shit as now.
But
This
watch
is what's
this.
going on now.
This the thing.
Crackheads making music. Crackheads are answering
That's
now.
the difference, though. That's the difference.
You know what I'm
We
saying?
had crackheads making music.
Say again.
Hear me. Watch it. All right, stay with me. This is one of them Ocho moments. Let me piece it together, but stay with me. We had crackheads talking to old dirty bastard making nothing but crackhead music. And guess what? It was different because it wasn't crackhead music to get the check. It was crackhead music because he had something to say from a crackhead perspective. It was something he had to express from there. He was feeling something as a crackhead. He was feeling something about them food stamps he was picking up while he got a deal. He was feeling something about all of these goddamn kids and the bitch that burnt him. He was feeling something about that shit, and he was expressing. He wasn't doing it for the check. He was getting a check because he was doing it for the art. Because he was rapping like that before he got that. These kids aren't rapping like that before they see it as a job. They see it as a job and are like, all right, let me start rapping now.
And
let me build my rapper persona around whatever I want to do because it's popping. It's not, let me rap because I'm trying to express something and then I'm getting paid for it.
So I agree with that.
And when I say that, I'm not exclusively keeping it to music, because when I say that, outside of Banksy, what artists do you know of our time? And I'm talking about visual artists. What famous artists outside of Banksy do you have any idea exists? Whereas before you might have a goddamn a Salvador, what's his name?
Diwali
at the same time Warhol walking around. You might have these great minds. You might have a goddamn Truman Capote still walking around while you got a Stanley Kubrick, while you got a damn Stephen King, and you talking about all like who are our great artists? Our books aren't written anymore from great writers and authors. They're written from reality stars and people who are already celebrities just telling us about their life. It's basically a reality show and a book. It's tell-all. I'm talking about art across the board is a lower of a quality because there's not passion. Art is an expression, and when you don't have something truly to express, when it is truly just a show of talent, it becomes I got you, bro. I got you. Art is and one. Art is your best hoopers at the street ball court. We're getting the Globetrotters. It is still good basketball players, but they're not doing it for the love of the game to where, like, I don't get really paid for this. I just show up at the court every night after my 12-hour shift because I love this shit so much. Them niggas ain't gonna dive on the ball in the Globetrotter game like this nigga is on this concrete court. It's a different level of oomph, and it's a different level of passion that it's gonna evoke out the audience. When you look at a crowd at the Rucker, the reason they be so ravaged is because they know that these ain't people that's just out there to get a check. They out there for the love. They out there to leave it all on their court just because they love that thing that much. And that's what you get from an artist that draw because it's in them. They gotta get this image out of their spirit. They gotta express this thing through this medium. That's what you get through the orator that go down and they talk on the corner just because it's in them, not because somebody paid them to come talk on their platform for a minute or they can get a cash app. It's just, I just got to get it out. That's art.
Okay.
And I feel like that quality of art is lowered, which is why you have people not able to feel as fulfilled. Like art adds a piece to a culture. Art adds a piece to a civilization. One of the highest indicators that you're dealing with a high civilization is its art. What's the quality of the art? How is the art made? How many ways is the art expressed? Is it just through writing, or do you see visual mediums as well? Do they have pottery made as well? Do they have cultural rituals as well that are like, what are the different ways that this culture is showing art, and that's a sign of civilization. When you see that decline, and again, that's why I think anthropologists put that into, oh, they're about to change. You did. Like you see that starting to be gone, and for us, it's gone because of, I feel like, those first reasons, right? Those first 5 reasons. Those things lead to a almost numbness and a
Mm.
situation where it's hard. We're so disconnected while being connected that it's hard to make real art, because it's like, even if you are a real artist, it's hard to get it out there to where other people can respond to it now,
Yeah.
because it's not concentrated. It's so diluted and spread out, and every corner got a little piece, so it's hard to find that art. And commercially, the people who have the platforms and control of the platforms are going to push right now the things that are not of an artistic quality. They're trying to push things that are of a low hanging fruit mentality.
So that's kind of what I'm saying. More or less the same thing.
Yeah,
Because of
that's what I said.
the
You are saying
yeah.
what I'm saying. We agree.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
we're not in disagreement. I
Yeah.
think we're
Okay.
just more expounding off of each other's agreement, but it's the same point we're making, is that the issue with the quality of art is that it's all low hanging fruit art now, as opposed to things that we're like pushing for an artistic thing. I think I'm just saying the reason for that is, when you get people, a population that are going through all of these, and especially I would say these two, right?
Okay.
So, and I'm going to focus in on the substance addictions and diseases,
Right.
and then the wealth and political inequality. It is
Right.
harder, and then I will add in too. It's not on here because it's not an indicator of a collapse or decline of society, but the increase in technology worldwide, right, puts us at a place where we are more connected to each other, but also able to disconnect and stay in certain pockets more than ever. We used to had
Yeah.
to be exposed to certain things because there were very minimal places to find information. So
Or at
you
least there was
might
a more common area for it.
100. Like, even though in the way we got information, if you looked up something, you might have to read through 3 books to get the answer you were looking for. And in doing that, you've learned about 10 other things that you weren't trying to learn. It's just in the course of looking for this actual thing you wanted to know, you by proxy learn these other things. So now you became a more well-rounded person, not even trying to, almost. You got to look through the encyclopedia. You might skip through these few things and then be like, oh, well, let me just look at this real quick. That's a cool picture. And then you done read a whole thing. Still got to go through and find the actual thing you need for your essay tonight. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? It was the process of the way we gathered information and where information was stored that
Yeah.
made it to where you were exposed to a lot more things, whether you wanted to be or not, which forced you to be more connected to everything. The world got bigger as you got older, as opposed to the world being really huge when you start, because you have access to all this information now. And then as you get older, you narrow yourself into this small niche and almost disconnect from the world outside of your bubble. And I think that's why you get lower qualities of art. I think that's why you get even the disconnect we have, right? It's because there's no more interaction. Like, the wealthy people used to have to still interact with the poorer people to get through their everyday.
Right.
Now there are literally areas of the world where the rich can be served by other people who are still in the top 10% of wealth,
Mhm.
because it's that high end of a boutique. If I only shop at Versace, the dude that's working at Versace is still clearing high 6 figures a year just off commissions.
Mhm. Mhm.
So he's still doing better than the other 90% of the people around. So he's still up with you, kind of. So you're
Mhm.
being served by the people that's in your still bubble. So it's still a disconnect from the everyday happenings of the world.
Okay.
And then what also happens is, because of those section and laws, right, you now get a decline in the number of births. I did look this statistic up. That birth rates are declining.
Okay.
literally within the past 3 years, every year it's been a small percentage of decline, somewhere between 3 to 6% each year. Now, the next one, right, which kind of goes with birth rate, right? Because you,
Yeah, this is where I
if
wanted to
you're
say.
making
All right.
babies, we gotta also see how many people are dying. I would say there's a decrease in the number of deaths, but an increase in infant mortality. So we have an increase in the number of baby deaths, just a decrease in the overall number of deaths. And I think that's because when we go back to public health, we got big pharma that's keeping you alive so they can keep
Yes.
you on their drugs. They're keeping
Yeah.
you alive.
Yeah.
Your quality of life is shit.
Yes.
You're in pain every day, but they're gonna keep you alive long enough to shove these pills down your throat for a good 70 years. So
Yes.
people are
Yes.
dying later or in average. So the number of deaths per year is down overall, but when you look at the number of children deaths, and if you were to add in quality of life, so people who were alive but they were either on machines or they were dependent on some other thing to keep them that way, I
Yes.
think those numbers would be shifted a bit and probably either be stagnant every year or at least show a slight decline. But I can't prove that as a fact. But that's
Yes.
my theory based on just general knowledge and understanding how we are and how our society is as far as around health and how why we're alive so long, right?
Okay.
And then the last one is a decrease in the amount of money available to the population. So when we talk about inflation, that means that the dollar, you need more of them to get the same thing that you were using
Hmm.
less of, which
Oh yeah.
means what are they doing? They're making the money scarce. It's harder to get things now. Why? So we can drive up the price and we can make more people. When we go back to this inequality and oligarchy, we make more people poor. We have more people that are less likely to have access to quality education, less likely to be healthy enough to do the research and stick with what's going on around them as far as with the government and these other companies and these entities that are kind of manipulating everyday society. What they're doing, it's harder for them to actually stay on it because they're either sick, high, recovering from some bullshit that the climate done did to them,
Hmm.
or they're so sectioned off that they don't even realize it's happening. Or
And that stuff keeps them distracted in the
a
meantime.
hundred, a hundred. And then with this lower quality of art, it keeps them in this loop of negativity that feeds the negativity they're already in, which makes them want to go back to those said pills or makes them want to sit there and be numb to the fact that yes, this shit is this fucked up. So they don't even have the fight to fight back. They don't even realize they should.
Right. So when I made the thing, there's one thing that I want to clear up. When I said, imagine, like today, crackheads making music for crackheads.
100.
There, I, I obviously don't believe that because you were born in a certain demographic or certain disadvantages doesn't mean you can't aspire,
100.
to lead or be that as well. Me
Absolutely.
saying crackhead is like crackhead on the lowest common denominator. Like that's it. Like we know crackheads just be like, dude, you're a crackhead. You're a clocker. That's all you're gonna do. That's all you want to do, sort of
Again,
deal.
we
You
agree.
know? Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
we agree. All I was saying is, yes. And I think the difference is we had crackheads rapping to crackheads, but those crackheads had a message of, damn, I wish it didn't have to be like this. Damn.
Okay. Yeah,
I
yeah,
ain't
yeah,
happy about it, but this just my situation, bro. And this how
yeah,
I got here, so you don't do it. And man, look at this fucked up shit that's happening to me. Whereas
yeah.
now it's, hey, aren't you happy to be a crackhead? Come on, be a
Yes,
crackhead with
yes,
me. Come on,
yeah,
everybody, let's crack it up together. Fuck
yeah,
crack. Let's do some shit even harder. Let's
yeah.
almost kill ourselves. Let's really kill ourselves. Come on, guys.
Jesus. Yeah, man.
And
That's
then they do
real.
the little hip dance to it and get sturdy and do a TikTok
Oh,
dance and they be
Oh, my friend,
high as fuck.
yeah,
And they happy about it. So yes, we're
yeah.
saying the same thing. I'm just saying that that's the sad part of the degradation of the
Okay.
art of like even our crackhead artists had some fight and some spirit and some actual feeling and emotion invoking things
Yeah.
in their music despite being the crackhead talking to the crackhead.
Word,
Whereas
word.
now it's just crackhead for being crackhead's sake.
Yeah, yeah.
100. Yeah, we on the same page still, my brother.
All right, good, good, good,
I
good. Making
apologize
sure.
for my disconnect and any wording that I used that kind of threw that off.
No, that's
But
cool. Glad we got
anybody
it.
that was
Glad we got it.
listening, if y'all didn't catch it as well, that's my bad.
Cool, cool.
But yeah, so those are the signs that civilization would collapse, right? Now, I do have this disclaimer in there that anthropologists say that like most civilizations don't actually collapse. It's more of a adaptation or a transformation into either a higher form or a lesser form. For example, they said they used the Mayan civilization and they said, it's often thought of as collapse, but basically they're still Mayan descendants today. But when we look at their culture, a lot of their way of life, a lot of their eating habits, their nutritional dietary habits, their everyday way of living, their storytelling methods, their ways of politics, their religious methods, all of these things kind of degraded and changed and went away. So even though yes, they are still the same people of that civilization, like even today you got Italy, but Rome is no longer there. It's the same
Yeah, yeah,
basic people as far as like nationality and demographic, but they are no longer under the same things that made that original civilization what it would have been defined as. So that's more what we mean. Like Egyptians are still alive today, but they're not what we think of when we talk about the Egyptian empire or the Egyptian civilization.
And them
We're
yeah.
niggas
talking
light
about,
skin.
you know, yeah, what we're talking about today, which is more of an amalgamation of all these other things. So it's not authentic Egyptian culture. It's people who live in Egypt or people who are of Egyptian descent.
With Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
You know what
With
I'm saying?
global interaction,
Yeah, it's
global.
almost like black people. Like we are all technically, if you are a black person in America, technically you are a African, but you,
Well,
you don't
look,
have that civilization as a part of your culture that strongly, unless you're probably an immigrant or unless there's people in your family that's directly tied to the actual continent that are feeding you that. But the average black person is so removed from that, it's a new thing. They're still African technically, same as the Mayans are Mayans technically, but do they live as that original culture? No.
Word, word.
And I think that's the thing, and I think that's what America's moving to. So when I say collapse, when I say it's over, I mean like what we consider American civilization is about to end. I feel like we're moving into a new era of something. I don't know whether it's going to be good, bad, and different, but I do feel like these things are all lining up. And if these are the markers that anthropologists use to do it, then who am I to disagree? And I feel like all of these things are happening in our culture at one time. So if there was a time when things would shift, would decline, would collapse, would whatever the word we want to use, I feel like it's happening.
Okay, let me throw something at you here. Hang on.
Go ahead, my brother.
So we're taken by history and by trends what it means for civilization to collapse. If
100.
we look at modern times of
Mhm,
what it takes for civilizations to sustain and lead, one of the very top things that we use, of
mhm.
course, are finances. And I think number one, I'm putting most importantly in quotes,
Right.
is military.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
These things, not so much the financial one, but at least the military one, is never quite factored in any of these sorts of studies. Where do you see that fitting in? And number two, do you see it fitting in a way where it might over lack of better terms overpower a good portion of this list
No.
and what it means?
I
um,
do factor them in. I think when you talk about finances, right? A lot of our finances are not run by our own country.
Mhm.
So as an empire, if that was something that would help us to sustain, we've lost that ability to actually be in control of our own finances because a lot of our finance is controlled by other countries that we're indebted to. Two, with the military, outside of the amount of nukes we have, which is almost a mute point at this point because so many different countries have access to nuclear capabilities and the ballistic missiles to get them to wherever they want them to.
Okay.
We're almost looking at like I almost just look at that like that's just a wash. So we look at actual like your ability to mount an effective offensive from a strictly military standpoint without nukes, right? What do you got? Your tanks, your missiles, your planes, your whatever, right? And your actual soldiers.
Mm.
China and Russia run that.
Mm.
And I'm talking about not only in terms of the amount of firepower that they can exert and the amount of foot power that they can put on the ground at any given place at a time. I'm also talking about in the fact of who their soldiers are. A lot of what used to make American military so great is that the American military wanted to go to war and they were all together backing each other back home, even when there was disagreement over going to war. Once we went to war, we all bared down, went in the bread lines, gave up shit, started going to get the little tickets so you can get your little rations. And we was like, we gonna win this shit for
Mm.
America. Even all
Yeah.
the way back to the American Revolution, you had slaves that knew they weren't about to be free. That was like, fuck this though, I'm American. We've lost that. There's no nationalism anymore to where like everybody feels like they're American. We all feel like we're our section of American. I'm African American with these type of black people over here because that's our America.
But I
I'm
think
this
deep
type of
down,
white
you
person.
know,
Nah,
if somebody was fucking with
nah,
America, you
nah.
would be American, though.
But this is what I mean, though, my brother. There was a time when people weren't fucking with us, and we was still running to go get in the military because we was like, we going to get the motherfuckers that even go against the shit we believe in. They won't fucking
Mhm.
with us for nothing. They was fucking with some country over in Europe, some country over in the Middle East, some country over in Asia,
Mhm.
and our men and women were signing up by millions to go. Like, we going. Fuck the
Somewhere,
draft. Don't even worry about drafting me. I'm going. You ain't about to get Americans to be like that now.
True.
The few Americans that are signing up to go in the military every year are not going because they want to be at war. They not going to there because they American. They going to there because, man, I need to get into college. I need the GI Bill, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody hiring me, and I'm trying to get the fuck out the streets, man. At least it's a paycheck. I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
something legal. Might even get to shoot some shit. These
Mm-hmm.
people ain't doing this shit to save America. So when you look at one of us in modern times going into war against a Chinese person who still believes I am Chinese above all things. I love this is my country. Yes, I don't always like my government, but this country, I'm gonna fuck you up about some China.
Mm.
And you have billions of them willing to do that. Or you look at Russia, again, still one of the biggest countries in the world. And their people, above all else, see themselves as Russian. Yeah, we might knock each other out at the club over some vodka. But about this Russia shit, we about to put on this military shit. We about to go. Who said something about war? We ready to go today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We might
Fuck
not
your
like
treaty,
Putin,
bitch.
but we not allowed to
Like
say.
these other countries show how what we used to be. America used to be like that. Oh, what you said over there? Don't worry about it. We coming to Korea. We on our way. Ain't got shit to do
Mm-hmm.
with us. We on our way though. We got you. We thought you sniffed some. We thought somebody coughed and said America. Well, we on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Napalm that bitch. We ain't got that type of fight in us no more as far as being together as a nation. These other countries are a nation. We are a group of fragmented people that live in the same country.
And finally, is that the cause of too much freedom?
Absolutely.
All right.
What? No. It's the cause of. It's the cause of our country making capitalism
Mm.
our national culture,
Okay. Okay,
as
I'll go with that.
opposed to our system of economics.
Okay.
There is okay, so you have capitalism as a economic structure, just a system of how money is distributed and goods and services are given in a group, right? And then you have capitalism as an ideal, as a way of life, as a ideology and a mantra that I'm living by every day to live my life. And that's the difference. We stopped being together because we started being, I need to have more than you. So why would I want to be with you on anything? Because if you go off the war, now I can take your house.
Hmm.
I can get the land that you leave behind. When that shit go to auction, I can now get it. I don't want to go to war with you. I want you to go. Well,
Mhm.
fuck you. I want you to go. Well, fuck you. I'm gonna keep my shit. Well, I'm gonna stab you in the back. Well, fuck you. I'm gonna stab your cousin in the back. You won't get a job over here. And we get more and more sectioned off to the point where it's not about the group, it's about my group.
Mhm.
Like you even look at the Republican Party, you have Republicans, and then you have MAGA. And then you still have them 5 or 6 Tea Parties.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then you have them maybe 10 or 12 moderates that don't like none of that shit that's got their group. And none of them are together.
Mhm.
Same with the Democrats. You got the Black Caucus, and then you got the group of the BIPOC people, and then you got the Latino caucus over here, and then you got the Jews that all got their agenda, and then you got the old whites that still old good old boys, and then you got the crazy whites that don't really fuck with the good old boys, but they also believe aliens are real and it's a pizza place that's eating kids and shit, and like it, it's
That's
so many it's so many groups that don't all but still agree that America is America.
True.
Whereas in China, you may have this political party and this political party, but they still all believe in the same original culture that makes China China. So when it's time to, if it's China against somewhere else, it's no longer their groups. It's just Chinese, and they like against whoever we are going to war with. For
Mhm.
Americans, it's yeah, I'm at war, but I don't even really want to be here because I don't even really believe in this government.
Well,
This
that's
ain't
real.
my America. I'm just over here, man. Hey, man, y'all can have this shit. I'll fight, if you fuck with me in my particular platoon, but I ain't really, my heart ain't in this shit. Them niggas' hearts is in that shit. They still fight war like with the spirit of old war, of like
Mhm.
a whole country rallying. We ain't got that no more. And that's what used to make us great because that's why we beat the British. Because we was
Mhm.
like, yeah, we all colonists, but nigga, this America. Come on, Virginia, Florida. I mean, Georgia. You come on up here too. Hey, South Carolina, North Carolina. We need y'all to get together. I know y'all different Carolinas, but come on, Carolinas. We need y'all too. Hey, New York,
Mhm.
roll down here, player. Massachusetts, we need you, player. Come on, Philly, bring in that brotherly love. Let's get together. Now, when we get to our different little meetings, we gonna still be arguing with each other because we still each other. Hey, it's still Pennsylvania over, but we still American first, and then we'll get to the state shit. Now it's just, hey man, look, if you ain't what I'm on, man, fuck you. If you ain't with this gang, you ain't with this. If you ain't with that, then you ain't with this. And
Mhm.
it's bruh. Other countries are taking our literal homegrown cultures. Hip hop was made here, and China and Japan about to fuck us all up on that front. Have you seen their video? Them niggas do hip hop better than us. Them niggas dance better than us. Them niggas be more in sync, and they can make look. We can't hardly get the damn Jabberwockies to all actually be in complete sync. These niggas will have 7,000 goddamn prisoners that's in prison out there crushing the Michael Jackson shit better than Mike. Man, we are not we ain't the shit no more. Afro beats the biggest music in the world right now.
Mhm.
That ain't us. Hip hop stopped being the number one genre this past year.
Yeah. Whatever they think hip hop is. Yeah.
I blame Diddy.
But when we look at like man, we losing, yo. And it's losing on so many fronts at the same time that something is shifting. And I think the worst part is
We live here.
we ain't gonna do nothing about it.
Yeah.
We going the
Too
same
busy
way
with the
wrong
dumb
way.
shit.
Look, we are already right now. I'm gonna tell you where we at right now as a civilization to give you the analogy. We are where Rome was when they had the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire. You had Constantinople on one
West
side,
Side?
and then you had the other side with what was it? God damn it, was it Rome? I know it was two
Italy.
different, but both of them had different capitals, and they was all Rome, but they was completely ran by two different emperors and everything. Until Constantine came, and that's when Constantinople came. It used to be Istanbul and somewhere else, and then Constantine came and he turned Istanbul into Constantinople, made it his capital, and he brought it back together. And then they went on a further decline because then they had the Christian thing and all of that, and yeah. And then other European empires started getting big, and you had the barbarians fucking them up from the north. And by that time, Carthage just started whooping their ass and all that shit. But y'all feel me? But it
I hear you.
started there. We about right there. I don't mean it's gonna happen tomorrow, because civilization, anything that grows slow, it dies slow. But
Yeah.
we on that precipice of like, this is when 100 years, 200 years from now, they look up and they look at our civilization and be like, damn, y'all remember when? Now what is this thing? It's not that. That died.
I hear you. I
Um,
hear you.
Go ahead. I see
but
them wheels spinning, Pat.
so I had an idea. Well, I had my opinion on what I felt about that question before we started, but I
Mhm.
didn't want to say it until we ended the go through the whole list,
Right.
and I wanted to see if I still had that same opinion, right?
Okay. Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's about the same. Um, I think everything is by design,
Mm.
more or less.
Hmm. Hmm.
I really don't think that there's two Americas.
Mm. Hmm.
There's there's a real it's the real actual America, and it's the shit that we grew up believing it is or
Mm.
what it's supposed to be. If
Okay.
we're looking at it at the second way, what we think it's supposed to be, what you're saying is correct, is
Okay.
if I look at it from what maybe I shouldn't have said it in reality, but if I look at it from what I have grown up to put together what I think America is, I feel like in every system there's a decline, but there's a decline on purpose.
Okay.
I feel like yes, there's I can't never say that word,
Oligarchy.
oligarchy, because it don't even look like what it spelled like to me. That's another whole pod on its own about the fuckery of the English language, and
Dumbest language in the world.
yeah, and it goes along exactly with the culture of what America is, man.
It's really just Creole.
The American
Mm.
dream scam. It's
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's a fucking scam, and at this point, there is no possible way for every person in America to actually fulfill the American dream the way they promote it.
Mm-hmm.
It
It's
is.
and I feel like this whatever we grew up where we think it's supposed to be, the ideal that it what it is, that I would even agree with if I felt like I saw examples of America doing that enough to override the examples of America of the other America that they try to hide. I would agree with that, but it's been fucked for the start. I really feel like America's been fucked for the start. It's just like what I said before: follow the money, and everything y'all have said from the Federal Reserve all the way down to capitalism just confirms everything that this has been a scam, an experiment. The
Mm.
whole fucking country, the reason why it even became an economic power is from human trafficking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like human trafficking. And we try to promote it like it's the most moral, high valued, like, and then wonder why people don't want to fight for the country. It's not even the simple fact that all right, we learning that this is how it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's the simple fact that they're doing it right in front of our face, and they're not trying to fucking change anything. So why the fuck would I want to fight for the country?
Right.
The fuck for? Why would I want to do anything patriotic? The fuck for? There has nothing. I have never been anywhere. I have never lived in the existence of America and felt fully American. I felt like background American. I feel like, all right, if we can't get this guy or this guy or this guy or this extra white guy, we'll get the nigga with the dreads.
Mm.
So I ask you, like, empires in decline. Okay, if you want to go into the military thing, Rome declined, and Rome was the strongest military in the world at some time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. Like Russia has a strong military, but the economy and the whole way of living there is fucked up. And snow, lots and lots of fucking snow.
Been a lot of snow since they started though, so that's no environmental degradation and no climate change in that level. And they're the weird part about them is their inequality and oligarchy has been the same way since almost their inception as a country. So they don't experience that as a thing that's happening to them. It's more of their norm.
What I'm saying that the powers that be like it when it's
But
in.
you also got to look at Russia decline. They had a revolution. Their whole monarchy got killed off, and they went from being the USSR with all of them countries up underneath them into just Russia.
And I'm saying get used to the decline because every freaking governmental, like you said, last call, absolute power corrupts.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Every freaking thing that has a government has some type of form of decline in their country. You have never seen a utopia or anything close to it.
And I agree 100%. And I think that's where we all agree. Like
Humans
this
are
is the
fucked up, man.
beginning of the decline. If you wanted them signs, here they are, my people. Let us know in the comments if y'all agree with us that it's going down. Now we all, I think,
Oh,
have slightly
look,
different read. Go ahead.
let
I'm
me
sorry.
make one thing. I don't think America going away.
Mhm.
No, the country's not going anywhere.
I don't think America is going away. I think
Its
America will be.
civilization is going to be collapsing.
I think the powers that be that control America are living off the decline.
Mm.
That's
Okay.
what I feel like. The decline is a great thing for them. It's a
Yeah, when
beautiful.
Germany declined, the same thing happened.
Yeah,
And they all went to Argentina and kept on living. Or
yeah,
came here
yeah.
and became
And
bootleggers.
but we'll see next week if we gonna live in the decline or we may actually have some type of progress.
Oh, we'll
I,
be
I
dead. We'll be dead before the decline is finished.
I will add this though. We're not, of course, the only people in tune to what's going on with this so-called decline. You better believe that these rich families and the 1% people like that, they don't just decline or go away like this. So I believe America and these sort of civilizations, they're not playing checkers at this point. They're playing the long game and they're playing chess so that they're not eliminated as a world power like that. And this involves the games and the stuff that we are not privy to, right?
I
I'm gonna
think
say
I think
this.
the decline
Watch.
is
Oh, go ahead.
marketable.
Watch this though. Marketable or not, and I promise you this:
That's the problem.
if Trump lose Tuesday, the end of it is going to accelerate its timeline. It's
Mm.
going to happen a little quick. If he lose, it's going to be a big problem.
Uh, I don't even know. They're just both. This is garbage.
I'm telling you, and he should lose because
Yeah,
he's a shit person as a president. But I'm telling you, if he loses,
he's a
that's
fella.
going to that might be the worst thing for the country. Worse even than him winning.
Yeah, yeah.
And neither are good options at all.
Now, are you saying that because Kamala is not a good pick, or are you saying
No.
that because his people that are backing him will burn this shit to the ground?
Again, what are we saying in the decline of civilization, right? One of
Mm-hmm.
the biggest things, and if you notice the order of things, right, it starts environmental, right, which puts stresses on the society, and then the true nature of that society comes out, and you get the wealth and oligarchy, which means political and wealth separations, right? You're seeing divides between these different groups of people. What causes that the most? A Trump loss. Trump wins, those that have sense gonna act like they got sense anyway. They not gonna like it, they gonna hate it, but they gonna do like they did the last term and deal with it because they
Mm-hmm.
got sense. All of the fringe people though hinge on if Trump loses, we are at one of them moments. It's like we are powder keg, which is why every time there's a social thing that goes on where the country is divided, it's popping off a lot quicker than riots. When we was growing up, the riot was crazy. It had been 30 years since the last riot.
Mm.
We talking about now, like every couple of years, it's riots, and it's because people are on them edges. And what's gonna set the fringe off the most is if he loses, because it's gonna set them fringe right wing folk off that don't believe in the government as it is, and boom. And now you got the fringe left wing people that's already shooting at him as he's running.
Don't forget
That's
January
going to be
6th.
even more emboldened to go after these people. We've already seen indications that his people will go and go do some violent shit if things don't go their way. But
Mm-hmm.
this time, I think because of the last time, you have more left wing people that are also a little nutty right now that will retaliate. And the worst thing you want is a full on, not riot, where one group is protesting real heavily and tearing up shit. You might can contain that. But if you got both groups all spazzing at each other and acting a hot ass, and the craziest of both groups, because what I'm thinking of is not the average run of the mill Republican that's voting for Trump or a Democrat that's voting for Kamala. I'm thinking of the nut jobs, them cuckoos.
Mm.
Again, we're seeing a person that's been shot at what, two, three times? That 2 times?
Yeah, a couple times.
And he ain't even the president like it used to be. You might get an assassination every decade, assassination attempt every decade on the actual president. This nigga is running and has tried, and people are trying to kill him twice. And those are the people that don't like him. And Matt, we've already seen what the people that do like him are willing to do.
I just
Mm.
imagine that
Too much of a powder keg. That's
had
gonna be the worst shit ever.
he's had death threats and
Mhm.
attempts before the president, before he even had a
Who
presidency.
shot at Trump before the presidency?
I just feel like he's had this.
No,
He's
don't feel like we talking some. Who shot at him before the presidency?
That's true.
I,
I'm
I
just
can
It's
saying
a
sort of
different
believe
thing.
that as
with
well,
his
as much as I
business,
can
You
believe that.
you getting hate
business.
mail on The Apprentice about I kill you is a lot different than somebody actually taking a firearm and firing a ballistic projectile towards you with the intent of killing you twice. We in different waters now. And again, we're not talking about all right. They trying to shoot. All right, if you people tried to shoot Reagan, right? Use that as an example. But the people that didn't like Reagan was shooting at him. But the people that did like Reagan weren't also storming capitals and like
Yeah, that's true.
attacking people in the streets and shit and burning shit at and burning ballots and all this crazy shit. They were still keeping shit within political framework of debate and we don't like it, but we not spazzing. So even though this lunatic did this, there was no alternate lunatic coming back at him.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at a case now where we have literal lunatics going at Trump this time. Not the problem. Trump wins, those still lunatics will still do that. But this time we also have a known set of lunatics that are still following Trump and are angrier than last time because their revolution was thwarted and their ballot was thwarted. they didn't get their man last time, and they started getting arrested and going to jail for storming the Capitol. So their revolution was fucked. These niggas is waiting and chomping at the bit for some bullshit.
Yeah, they did have like
If
a
he lose, they gonna go back. And my theory is that then these nuts that are now showing themselves from the left side now interact with these right wing nuts, and now you have just a bunch of crazy ass motherfuckers just doing crazy shit, which destabilizes a lot of what's already an unstable society that we're discussing here.
yeah. They
That's
matter,
just a theory, though.
matter of fact, I saw this was this news report that somebody set a whole bunch of ballots on fire in Oregon.
Yeah, yeah. Like people aren't. This is no longer an age of like. It's like that over drama because people high as fuck and they stressed out in ways that they used to didn't be. So you got like it used to be people would just be like, we're gonna go yell about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody is just on edge and want to act stupid. They want to go crazy. Let me tear some shit up. Let me go violent. Let me hit somebody. Let me shoot somebody. Let me beat somebody. Let me like it's too many nuts running around just chilling. It's like social media. We used to have the nuts in their own little wing and we didn't see them all the time, but now they just out in public just running rampant. So you don't really know until the shit go down. Oh, this nigga, he one of them. This nigga crazy. You know how many people was looking at them folk when them pictures started coming out and them indictments started coming down from them people storming the Capitol was looking at them like, damn, I had no idea Kathy was out there. I would have never guessed. What? Sally did what? Oh my God. She was just at the PTA meeting.
Slap the fuck out of them people in the goddamn.
So like it's like a lot of kooky people that's intermingled with the general population, for lack of a better term. I'm worried. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I ain't had a point in my life before where politically I was worried about my like what's going to happen based on the president. Like I was like, man, I don't want him to be president. I know it's gonna be some bullshit. But I've never been literally fearful of like I don't know what's about to happen, but I know it's gonna be bad.
That's true.
This nigga said he wanted to use the military to go at his political opponents. Ain't that the Gestapo?
That is all the tyrants, Putin, Korea.
I feel like ain't that the SS from Germany?
Mm-hmm.
You argue with you come out and say something against Hitler, then you just end up missing, and so do your family.
He does a lot of Hitler-esque type things. Yes.
I'm saying. Things will not be right. And the sad part is things will not be right if he win. But I really feel like if he lose, he gonna do some dumb shit and say some dumb shit that's gonna spark that's gonna be that little spark that set off all of them nut jobs. And it's gonna be just craziness in the streets.
But I also feel like there's a lot of people secretly turning against them within the party.
That's what I'm saying. It's not the same party. You talk about Republicans in general. I'm talking about there's more than one sect of Republicans.
Yeah, I know. I understand it.
Them Republicans that don't like him. But as he loses, he gains more in the streets. And the streets is going to help him. Because what happens is them Republicans that don't like him, they don't have no backbone to go against their constituents because they want to keep their terms. So what happens is they go with whatever the American people feel. And the more that a lot of them turn away from him, a lot of these that's why you get some of these black dudes that's rolling with him and all these, like you get a lot of more uneducated people that just see, government don't like him, we like him because he ain't them.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he wins, those people that were against him have to go with him because it's still their party. And when them midterm elections come around, they want to make sure them people that voted for him come out and vote for them. So they gotta roll with it. Now, if he loses, they can go against him publicly, but then you still have a huge contingent of American constituents that do like him. That's the thing. He's not like a bad guy that people don't like. He has like, even though I don't fuck with him, I do have to recognize that he does have a large amount of people in everyday public that do want to vote for him, that do rock with him when he be doing. Like, they go for him, whether I like it or not. It's half of this country that's like, go Trump, go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's got to be dealt with. And the problem is, out of that 50% of the country, it's a good 9% of them that's crazy as fuck. And the scary part is, this time that 9% on the Democrat side is showing itself throughout this campaign. So now there's an actual opposing force to. First, it was just rational people against the crazies. Now it's some more crazies over here that want to go against the crazies. That's a different dynamic this time around.
They thinking gotta beat fire with fire.
And that's the problem. What does fire do?
Burn.
Burn. Whole forest gone by the time the fire meet fire.
Got two questions. First is that group that you're talking about, as far as Trump, I think he does have some very staunch supporters that really don't mind any of the consequences. But at the same time, I'm reminded of January the 6th. Would you not think that, take the whole group, whatever percentage they would be, but of that percentage, would you say over 50% would repeat a January 6th, or more or less?
Of the group that are staunch his supporters?
Yeah.
I'd say all of them would. When you talk to them, like, all right, so this is how you could tell who these people are. When you talk to them and you bring up the points he makes about he wants to be a dictator, they support that.
Okay.
So these aren't people that are against him invoking martial law. They prefer it, and they support being part of that that militia that runs it. These are people that truly believe, to this day, despite the lawsuits, despite the court cases, despite January 6th, that last election, he has been the president this entire time to them. You got to understand. We think that's a crazy minority. No, that's a lot of people over there. It's just not in our circles because we are of a particular ideology and thought process and stuff. So the people we probably surround ourselves with don't think like that. But the
We
general,
wouldn't be around them anyway.
but in general, the swath of this entire nation, yeah, it's a good chunk of people that's like, we still fuck with everything he said. They are eating the cats and the dogs. And we do need to get all of the Mexicans and round them up and send them back and build a wall. And we do need to kill the Haitian immigrants because they're going to eat our pets. And we do need to go over here and storm the country because they shouldn't have stole the election the last time. And it should have just been more of us there on that day. They believe that shit. Kamala ain't got them. But the Democratic Party do. You got a lot of left wing nuts that still ain't about the government, but they don't like Trump because they look at him as a person that committed treason, which is why they shooting at his ass. And that's the dynamic that has been missing from most of the times when somebody got shot at. That was a political figure. When Robert Kennedy got shot at, there wasn't a lot of crazy black people that was also ready to go shoot back at these niggas. Mm-hmm. Even Lee Harvey Oswald, he got killed by another person that was all part of the same group that killed Kennedy. So it wasn't like it was another group that was an opposing force of crazy. It was like all the same thing.
Yeah.
Reagan, it was a lone nut. Won't no other group of people that was like, oh, we gonna go get it. So this time, even January 6th, it was crazies. It was all his crazies, just them, and everybody else was rational. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Now it's still those rational people available, but now the other crazies that's on the other side of Trump's ideology that are coming out. They're like, oh, well, fuck this, y'all getting crazy. We'll get crazy too. Shoot this nigga. And now you got two groups that all believe in guns and are all showing the willingness to use and do whatever to get their point across. And you now have them both coming to a head on Tuesday night. And whatever happens is going to depend how one of them groups is going to react and going to depend on what happens from there. And the thing is, if Trump wins, the people that's against Trump might keep trying to shoot at him, but there's nothing. But the group that's with Trump is appeased. So one group is now docile and settled and in a celebratory mode. Only one group is still hostile, so we can still isolate that group and attack that and neutralize that. If Trump loses, the group that don't like Trump is still agitated because Trump is going to do some dumb shit. Well, I should have won and it's still my election and we're going to fight. And the people that don't like him going to get riled up by that. So now they mad. But the group that supports him is also mad. So now you got two groups of mad people with crazies in it. Just not a good mix.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's all scenarios are not great, but I pray that I'm wrong because again, this is a theory. It's just me putting two and two together and assuming that it's gonna be four. But you know, my math might be wrong. But this feels different than any other election, any other time in my life, any other political period that I've been through because it's so much absurd shit that is being normalized.
Yeah.
And normally I'm used to seeing like when a candidate says or does some wild shit, a lot of his own people realizing and like, okay, what the fuck? Like I remember back when they had the Republican primaries that year, and that nigga, what was his name, Robert Dean or Jim Dean or something, he was like,
yeah.
and this nigga lost his whole campaign because of that shit. Because people was like, what the fuck is wrong with him yelling and hooting like that? He all right? He'll look, we don't need that in the White House. That nigga crazy as hell. And now
wild.
we have a candidate on national TV saying he wants to be a dictator. He plans on using the military to attack his political opponents, and that there are immigrants eating cats and dogs without any evidence. And the people who back him are still backing him more fervently than ever.
Holy shit.
And they are saying that he is right. I don't know what the hell to do with this, people. I've never seen this much justification of stupidity and wanton stupidity. It's not stupidity with a level of ignorance of you don't know better. It's I am willfully being this dumb, and you are all rolling with me. What? That's different.
Trump brought reality TV to politics.
100.
That's all
this
that
is.
is.
A bad episode of Bad Girls Club.
That's all that is, man. Holy shit.
One thing. Oh, go ahead.
For some reason, I think I refuse to explore this on my own. Just because I'm kind of annoyed with what comes out of it. But very quickly, I try to pay attention for those that, voting now is like, going for a sports team, like wearing a jersey, of course, with the hats, the this, the that, I'm always wary and interested in some of the people that are voting for Trump. Particularly the ones I see now. You always want to question some black people that vote Republican. I'm for, you could vote for whoever. There are more conservative black people who may not be so much like regular folk, as they say. They may have grown up a different way. They have different interests. Historically may have grown up a little bit different than some of us as well, and believe that they are part of that conservative party. But some of those guys represent themselves not in that manner that they're trying to vote conservatively or what's in their best interest based on their legacy and their history. It's more like they want to attach themselves to a winning team or somebody that projects their insecurities or the perception of themselves instead. So it's
Absolutely.
there's that group, but then there's also the group of I would call them excuse me. I would also call them the red pillar people who are outwardly boasting, like Joe. Well, he's not a red pillar, but these guys like Tate and all these other little guys from YouTube are voting Trump and saying their names and stuff too. Like, what is that? Is that just a brand name thing, you think? Or, what is with the bravado that now goes with not just Trump, but Republican?
For one, when you're talking about people who are doing content, latching onto it, I think it's more of a, if you look at who are most of red pill audience, right? You're talking about your average Caucasian young male who is disenfranchised or feels like there's a section of society that's held them out of access and they are looking for something to feel a part of. One of the biggest movements right now that is the perfect place for a Caucasian young white male who feels disenfranchised is red pill. Right after red pill, or right as red pill is growing, what is also growing? The Trump movement. Both are
Okay. Okay.
both are rife with echo chambers. Both are rife with conspiracies that make you feel like it's not your fault that things are the way they are. It's this person and that person. Both are rife with, I don't have to do a lot of work to be a part of this. I don't have to really research that much. I can be naive and just go along with the talking points, and as long as I nail them, I'm a part of this group. It's the same thing that makes people go flat earth all of a sudden. It's
Okay.
it's it's more of the feeling of acceptance and feeling like I'm a part of. And when you're talking about content creations, you also got to look about the algorithm. What's going to drive the most people to either like or dislike your content? What's going to make people either rage watch or really watch your stuff and be excited about it? Trump. He's a hot button topic that is evergreen right now. And until he gets out of the political sphere, you can make a Trump video at any time and you're going to do more views than your normal thing. So if
Sure.
you're a content creator of some substance, especially now that if you look at the red pill creators, a lot of them are losing their platforms or the audiences are dwindling in that specific thing. So what's a perfect place to jump straight to that still keeps you with that same audience? My audience is also Trumpers. Word. I'll just flip over to this content, roll with that. I'm going to get new people that hate me and come in just to argue with my chat. I'm also going to still fulfill the needs of the people that have been following me for this other content, and I don't have to do a lot of work to do it. I just continue to find the talking points and nail those and keep repeating them in different ways every day. It's an easy grift. It's the same thing as the Hotep shit. It's find the disenfranchised people, find what's already popular with them, and then find a way to make that part of what your spiel is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and if you're a creator right now, especially if politics thing is your thing, going against or with Trump right now is going to get you into some algorithm and get you some views and get you some people watching your shit, whether you actually believe what you're saying or not. So, it's that bandwagon mentality. It's the reason people all of a sudden became Cowboys fans in the 90s and hadn't been Cowboys fans their entire life.
True. True.
It's the popular thing to do and it gets people going. So I know people who even stopped liking the Cowboys just because it was popular for them. So then it gave them a different thing that gave them an identity of being the guy who didn't like the Cowboys. It's all that same mentality of I want to monkey see, monkey do. And then if you do, I'm going to go against you because it still make me special.
Yeah.
People just
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
feel like they somebody. But a lot of that's what it is. And even when you look at why people blindly follow Trump, it's become a thing of a movement of it's bigger than him. It's people going to the rallies because they seeing them same people. They finding a place of togetherness. Whereas before that, whatever reason, whatever their views were, whatever their way of acting was, they couldn't find a way that people was accepting them. But here, everybody fuck with them and rocking with them. So
Mm,
now I'm somebody. I'm a
true.
Trumper. Oh, and now it gives them an identity because now they can argue with people and they can feel like it's something like that, a badge of honor. You know what I mean? And it gives them that thing. Even going against Trump, a lot of people like they might not even feel that strong or might not even know his actual policies and shit to go against him, but they just doing it because it's a hot button thing and make him cool.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of part of it too.
It's word.
But yeah, man, it's the end of the world as we know it, man. And that's all of my topics for the evening, fellas. I appreciate y'all jumping down that rabbit hole with me and having that discussion. And my people out there in the clouds, my people out there on the replay game, if you watch this, man, let us know in the comments, what do y'all feel? Do y'all feel that these signs of the impending collapse of a civilization are what we're going through now? Do y'all feel it's actually we're completely fine? What do y'all feel about it? Let us know in the comments what you feel, and if you also agree with my theory that if Trump loses, it will actually be worse than if he wins, and neither option is good. But let us know what y'all think, man. I have nothing else for the evening, man, and it's getting late. So, Pat, do you got anything, any topics for the week before we get up out of here?
You know, Diddy's son tried to jump Ray J at a party and Chris Brown saved him. That shit was wild.
The segue. Why is Ray J always in the middle of some shit?
And how is Chris Brown saving people from a fight?
I would say this, a few things. First, at least Ray J ain't out here threatening them little boys with no damn booty goons like he did Fabulous. So at least it wasn't that bad of an altercation. For two, God bless Chris Brown for breaking no fights, because Chris has come a long way, because his image was very much different a few years back. So to see him come to be a peacemaker now, that's a beautiful thing.
It is. Especially
last fight we heard about Chris Brown being a part of, he about to beat Usher ass. So I'm glad that he's on the good side of things in this story. Lastly, Diddy's sons, Lil Diddy's, Papa Diddy Pop, whatever the fuck. All y'all need to sit down and shut the fuck up right now. Shit is bad enough. Every week a new child, boy, or woman comes out and says y'all done did something to them. You might want to shut up, leave everybody alone. You should be in a hole somewhere, quiet as a church mouse. We should not. Only people that should know you even exist is the bill collectors and DoorDash. Like, you should be persona non grata, off the grid. Goddamn, shut up. Why? We know Ray J said that y'all, y'all was taking ass, but damn it, you could see it was a joke. Everybody could see a joke, and even if he was serious, it's Ray J.
Right?
Ray J serious? Same nigga that snapped the glasses that he said couldn't break.
So try to break the glasses.
Like, what we talking about here, man? Like, sit still somewhere, did this. All of y'all did this. The whole did this. All of the did this. Mama did it, daddy did this, papa did this, son did it, uncle did it, aunt did it, all of did this. Sit your ass down somewhere. Shut up.
Do I did it, dumb did it do.
Shit is bad enough.
These niggas dumb for the diddy they do.
I'm so sick of Diddy. Him, Jada Pinkett, and there's a few more others that need to just go somewhere and sit down. I don't want to see or hear from you no more. You don't deserve to be in the zeitgeist
at all.
And Diddy especially right now. Like, god damn, Diddy, shut up. I don't want to hear nothing else from you till the judge is sentencing you. Shut up. Sit your ass in that little red infested cell, eat them moldy bologna sandwiches, and shut the fuck up. Take that.
That was synchronous. That was I didn't read it.
Great minds, my brother. Great minds. Shit. I'm sick of this shit, man.
Yes, as one nigga goes into jail, well, actually two, because Diddy and Dirk. One get out.
One nigga bring two niggas. Two niggas bring three.
It's like
three niggas bring four niggas. And four niggas come get me.
Hey, Diddy needs Dirk's lawyer. That's what he needs. He better hire Dirk's lawyer.
Oh, Young Thug's lawyer, because he's
Boy.
out.
Young Thug lawyer, right.
Yeah,
Boy, Young
he's out.
Thug, man, that's some crazy shit there.
He's out.
I
Off
he
of,
better not do shit.
what
I
am I
know
trying
that.
to say?
He better make sure all of them killers was away from him. Nobody better not say slime. Nigga, you better go out, make music, and shut up. He better shut up too, cause he still got people all jumping up and down because he out and he free. But when you read that sentence, if that nigga do anything during these next 15 years, he got 20 years dropping on his ass immediately.
He banned from Metro Atlanta.
You better chill out.
He has to do 4 presentations, concert a year against gang violence. He has to do a whole bunch of All My Life, Lil Durk and J. Cole songs. I'm joking. He can travel for work.
Gang banging.
They had a meme that said this is the next new Young Thug song right there.
Gang banging.
You gotta do concerts with Smokey Robinson.
Right. With big jean suits on.
He can't have no contact with gang members or co-defendants except for his brother and Gunna. So he can make songs with Gunna.
Is he still cool with Gunna?
I don't know.
Like, I'm so confused about parts of this trial because it was so long and there's so many different little sections and co-defendants and shit. But, like, won't they mad at Gunna because Gunna told, are they cool with Gunna enough to do music?
He can't promote gangs in any way. I also want to put that out. But I want to also think to myself that Gunna's been doing all right, even after that. So it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if is Gunna the real, like, pen behind the hits?
No, because Thug was better before. Thug was Thug before Gunna came into the picture. Gunna is inspired by Thug. So, like, you gotta remember, Thug was way back with Rich Homie Quan. Thug was before Rich Homie Quan. Thug was back with Guwop when they was doing the 10-17 Brick Squad movement with him, Walker, what's the nigga, Slim Duncan, and all them niggas was hanging together. And Walker and all them niggas with dreads was running around in big white tees, terrorizing Atlanta. And all the clubs fighting people and shit. So you gotta look Thug. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. I would say that Gunna is the pen behind his own hits, and he is truly talented. We could maybe say that. But I just wonder, you can make music with Gunna. He's definitely on your label still, so you still want to, get paid off of his music, and you want him to do well. But do you still fuck with him? Like, I don't know, because I remember I thought that was the thing when he told YSL won't fucking with him no more. Yeah, he was supposedly supposed to get out, and then it's supposed to be the industry won't fucking with him, but he still ended up, nigga made fuck you mean, and people forgot all about that shit. All it was, yep, fuck you mean.
I fucked with that song. I knew that song was
Young Gunna, one of them Gunna,
I knew that song. First, I was like, yep. Yep. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Nope. Yeah, he came on with that. That was I ain't gonna even front. I be excited when I hear that shit in the club. Oh, that's my shit. Fuck you mean.
I be like that sometimes.
He should have did a remix with DC Young Fly. Fuck you mean.
Or at least have him in like an intro part.
Yeah, like this DC Young Fly, man, we motherfucking headed boy, man, we headed boy. Fuck you mean. Fuck you mean. Man, I don't know no words. Ice the bird. Some in the dirt. Man, then the bird. Bird. The bird is the word.
Fuck you mean.
All right, I'm getting goofy now, man. You know that.
Let me close it. Another bunch of people that's like fuck you mean is the Puerto Ricans of America, especially after the last Trump rally.
Boy,
a,
that
a
one of the more
poor
racist rally.
a poor disgrace of a Tony Hinchcliffe, or whatever, said some of the wackest jokes I have ever heard. It's not that the fact that it was racist. Well, no, it is the fact that it is racist, but it was just dry as hell. It was
Nope.
just no. It wasn't nowhere near funny. It was just.
Mm-mm. You know what it was? Want the jokes. You know what it was?
Mm,
Jokes. So comedy is made up of a few different elements, right? You
mm,
got tragedy and or serious situation. You got absurd perspective on tragedy and or serious situation. And then the added element to that is audience expressed to. You can tell the same joke in five different rooms, and you might get five different levels of laughter, from boo digga boo to just silence to quiet chuckles to an uproarious standing ovation, all depending on who the audience is. You're doing this at a political rally.
mhm.
This isn't like the Tom Brady roast. Where that same joke might have came off hilarious. This isn't your stand up comedy thing, Kill Tony, where that audience is there for that type of
Yeah.
humor. You
Mhm.
are talking to an extremely mixed group because this is nationwide. So it's not even just the people at that rally you're speaking to. You're speaking to millions of Americans that both love and hate Trump, that both recognize you and don't, that both like that type of humor and don't. So he just was dumb enough to try that type of thing on that stage. Like, that's
Yeah.
not where you do those jokes. Those same jokes, you do them at a different form, they might come across different because the audience has a different reception. There's less tension in the air. It may not already be, again, the location. You're talking to a group that's already has had xenophobic and racist speeches that evening.
Mhm.
So it's like that's just not the time for that type of thing. Like, maybe let them do the political racism and stuff, and you come in and do jokes about how dumb people are or how goofy the other candidate is or something like that, but maybe not take it to that aspect of the
I
race
almost
and
feel
the
like he.
culture thing.
I almost feel like he. The way he did it, I almost feel like he did it. It's either he did it on purpose or he did it on purpose. What I mean by that is either he's that damn racist or he wanted to expose how racist these motherfuckers are at these rallies. Like
I think it's more benign than that. If you follow Tony Hinchcliffe, you will know that, like, his style of comedy is that all the time. So
yeah, I
this
have.
isn't unique to
Yeah.
this type of situation or this type of
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
this is just how he jokes. All he jokes on handicap, he jokes on slow white people, he jokes on black people, he jokes on fat people, he jokes on every type of person you can think of. He jokes on them, and he does it with that same type of cold, callous, saying the most fucked up shock type. That's his humor. That is literally who he is as a comedian. So again, I don't think it's he was trying to make any type of statement or any of that. I think he literally, that was his set.
Yeah, he
He
went with
did
it.
it, but the problem was, the reason why he didn't even apologize too much is because he would have done that regardless.
Yeah,
It's
his.
just the backlash comes because it's on an already racially charged night because of the environment that had already been set by the other
Mhm.
speakers and the other people that were at the rally, right? So that's already in the air before he said a word. And then he does it on that type of stage. Even if that tension wasn't there or people hadn't said nothing yet, him doing it on that type of stage where you have such a mixed group. If you do that at just a Trump rally with no cameras, no nothing, and it's just those people that may feel that way, you might get away with that fully.
Mhm.
You do that at your stand-up comedy show where even the black people are in on the joke. They're coming to hear shock humor. You feel what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
you're doing this at a political rally that's nationally televised and has a very large mixed group, as far as, like, they're all conservative, but like how far right wing is varied in that type of a climate, because now they're not. This isn't a MAGA rally. This is we're trying to get behind the president. So you got all of the different types of Republicans there, and you got all of the other people who aren't Republicans who don't feel that way at home watching. So it was just he didn't read the room well for this. You could do that style of humor, but those particular like racial humor
That
that
is
night was not the
take away.
best
Yeah.
for the type of audience you had. Do that at the MAGA rally, do that at your stand-up show, and might get a reaction that you're looking for. But people gonna be pissed off at you. You do that where they won't even there for that. They was there to hear policy and whatever the last words from this political party was, and then they're already getting bombarded with these racist remarks, and then you come up there and literally just basically take it over the wall. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's just not the timing. Poor time and place. He could have came in there and joked on a whole lot of different groups, but joking on race or people's ethnicity and cultures that night
Yeah.
was not.
They're gonna put
That
it
time and place
like
was horrible for him. He was going to get murdered by the media and
Mm.
and the public. You know what I mean? It was going to happen.
his response was, "What do you mean? I go to Puerto Rico every year or some shit like that." That was
Yeah.
his response back. That shit's crazy.
Again, he's that type of comedian. Like, so for anybody that gave him backlash and thought they was gonna get a apology of some kind, like that's just he's one of those comedians that is truly committed to I'm going to say the thing that's going to offend the most people, because he thinks that's like there's a group of people that enjoy humor that is literally is just offending people. They think it's funny that people get offended. So they say the most offensive thing about everybody. And he's one of those. So he doesn't feel sorry for it. He meant to say everything he said. I just feel personally that if he had said those things at a different location and time, or if he had said things equally as offensive but about a different group, we're not having this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just taken as, oh, either you like this joke so you thought that was bad, but it's not, oh, you are coming off as a racist. He's a racist. He's bad. It just changes it. Yeah.
True. True.
Time and place for everything, man. It's a time to whoop somebody's ass, but it ain't every time.
That's true.
Sometimes it's a time to talk it out. You know what I mean? And you got to recognize he didn't read the room. That's all. Now, I don't condone the jokes because I wouldn't have, but I don't think his jokes are funny when he talks about race on his show in the proper context. Although I recognize that there are people there and they're laughing their ass off. So I get it. And they're of all races and ethnicity. So I know it's not,
Mm-hmm.
it's a comedy thing, but I don't find that shit funny. But I don't hear that if you do it on your show or at a MAGA rally, but you do it on something that's nationally televised. Well, now I'm going to find out about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, we in the age of most shit is taped. So it's kind of like, unless you're in one of them sanitary environments where they done put the phones in the lockbox and you can really get your shit off, and the only way people know what you said is by memory. There's no actual record. You really got to just be smart about what you say and where you say it. And that don't mean you can't have every type of comedy known to man and it be viable. But locations matter, audience matter. I'm not going to tell certain jokes to you or around you or about you that I would to somebody else, because you have jokes that you are receptive to, and then you have jokes that are gonna piss you off. That other person got jokes that they receptive to, and they piss you off, and those might not be the same thing. So I can't just mix audiences like that.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you look at podcasts, there's a lot of podcasts that go when they go on different podcasts, they flow with the theme of that host show. Yeah, I got my thing that I do, but like even if you watch Gilbert Arenas when he goes on Nightcap with Uncle Ocho, he don't do the same type of stick that he does on his own podcast because it's a different setting, it's a different audience. Them people might not be fucking with your type of humor like your audience is. Just gotta read the room. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
That's true. That's true. And just in case y'all didn't realize, episode 167, Civilization is over. This is the good and fuckery section of the show. And the last thing I got for the good and fuckery is as I pick up my DoorDash, McDonald's, man, they can fix their own ice cream machines now. It's just crazy.
They always have been there, or no, I guess not.
No, they had this
They
stipulation
had to
with
get
the
them
actual
that
ice cream
particular
machine
company that
makers.
had to come do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like 30, like 3 decades long contract. So I guess they beat the contract, and now they can fix their own freaking ice cream machines. That don't mean that they still won't be broke, but hey,
Well, on a down note, they can fix their own ice cream machines, but McDonald's service has gotten so bad that nobody's going to actually do it. They don't even really want to serve you the food that you order right now.
that's true.
Have you been to most McDonald's, unless you in like a highfalutin area? It used to be you might have that one hood McDonald's in the city, but the rest of them gave pretty much decent service, got you in and out quick. You got to get out the drive-through. Every McDonald's now makes you have to push up. They got 13 people sitting by the door in their car waiting for their drive-through order. As they continue to take orders, you go inside. Nobody greets you at the front. Nobody comes to take your order. They just wait for you to put your shit in on the kiosk. If you coming in for DoorDash, they take forever to get it to you. They in there on their phones, gossiping, talking shit, doing everything but actually making your goddamn burger. And it's just horrible. And this is the average. That's the norm now. So I doubt they're gonna fix it. They might can, but ain't nobody about to do it. Do you think one of them little teeny boppers on them perks with his pants hanging down his ass, but they too tight still, and he's sitting there looking stupid with the goddamn NBA YoungBoy haircut? You think that motherfucker about to do some goddamn cleaning ice cream? This nigga don't want to wash his ass. You think he about to clean the ice cream machine? Nigga, please. We ain't gonna never have a McDonald's
Want
shake
him
again.
to clean the ice
Better go
cream.
to Wendy's, get a Frosty.
I might not want that boy to clean the ice cream machine. You're right.
Well, it ain't nothing but him or Guadalupe in the back, the old Mexican lady that making the damn McChickens, and she ain't getting her old ass over there to do it.
Mm-mm.
And Janice, the little lady that's in there running the little young folk and the little old Latin lady, she ain't about to do it because she ain't even thinking about them kids. She in there on her phone, worried about her man and getting home to her kids. She over there putting nugget meals away to the side in the office so she could take it home after work so she ain't got to cook tonight.
With the little
Fuck out it. You already know, man. All that shit's some fuckery, man.
Gotta get the
McDonald's
little.
ain't nothing but some bullshit.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Well, that's another one for the books, man. Another episode of the Podnas, and hopefully we make it to y'all next Friday. I'm considering doing a live stream Tuesday night, depending on how I'm feeling, to discuss things in real time as we know them on the political front. But that should be taking all night for them to know. So I may not do that, but hopefully we at least make it to Friday so we can, talk this shit again and discuss whatever the results of this upcoming election are. Before you know what, I'm gonna do this first. If you want to support financially, you see how to do so at the bottom. Make sure you please do so. You also see, our trade clothing on Google, man. Our trade clothing, ARTRE clothing, ARTRE clothing. Go do it on Google. You'll find the merch store. You can get all the good merch. If you want to support financially, anywhere at the bottom works for us. Please do so. If you want to keep in touch with us throughout the week, Pat, how can they do that on our socials?
@THEPODNAS. That's @THEPODNAS. That is the Twitter, the Twitch, the TikTok, Instagram, and on Facebook. Tis Face Pat are the partners.
Indeed, man. Thank y'all as always for joining us. Y'all be safe out here this coming week, especially y'all going to still vote. If you haven't early voted already, and if you're going out to the polls Tuesday, please be safe. And I mean that on whatever political side you on. Just be safe, man. I really do feel like the fringes and those of us that are not well will be out and in full effect acting a fool. So please be safe. Cast your ballot safely, but make sure you do cast your vote. It is your right, and I honestly believe, like, despite how bad it can get, man, if you don't actually participate in the process, if you're not actually working the process, it's hard to complain about it. So be a part of the process so your voice can be heard and so your voice matters afterwards. Other than that, as always, man, I've been one third of the partners. It's been your boy Tiz, and I've been along with.
It's the other third of the partners. Is the Padawan here?
Y'all,
Yeah,
excuse
that's another one. Civilization is doomed, y'all.
It's the end of the world as we know it. But
God.
you know, not only is it the end of the world as we know it, man, it's the end of this episode as we know it, man. Shout out to Last Call. Shout out to Kimberly Callahan. Shout out to Black Anonymous and anybody that was in the clouds or who's catching this on replay. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Help us out in the algorithm. Otherwise, man, y'all have a blessed week, man. We see y'all next week to talk the further collapse of this civilization. And we about this thing, motherfuckers. Peace. Have a great week, y'all.
President this year because I voted for myself. Make sure y'all vote for the Padawan. You can write it in. Vote for the Padawan.